What's up, Cap? You guys are quick in today. Dang. You guys are super quick. Hell yeah. Appreciate it. Alright, checking who's all live right now. I didn't even think about checking before going live. Yeah, you guys are always super fast. It's crazy. Blitz and Ian are live. Okay. That's cool. I'll take their leftovers. Boom. Instant membership for Brohan. Appreciate you now, Hart. You're an amazing person. Hell yeah. Memberships right off the bat. Do a little bit of a, do like a good 2-hour stream. Hopefully get some, at least a few decent conversations. Gotta turn the recording on. There we go. Totally forgot to do that. Yeah, let's get into this. Ended up recording a reaction to someone we debated this last month. Posted a video on our debate, so that'll be going up in a couple days. Hopefully the callers don't give you a stroke. It's gonna happen. We already had a Kylo KG member share the stream. Philbro season is in. And we get CT. Let me turn this down. What's up, man?
What's up? I heard that KG shared the live, and they also just rated UA, so I figured I can help you out if need be.
Well, we just got a KG up, so let's fucking do it.
All right.
Philbro Day, I guess. God damn. What's up, Cap?
Yeah,
it is the Lord's Day.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, man? Yeah, so I have an argument for God, man. We can
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's just a standard.
Yeah, so skip the entire syllogism and provide me the epistemic justification for each individual premises. Go ahead.
Do you know the premises?
No, but it's your job to provide external justification because logic doesn't make them. Whoa, wait! Why are you dodging already? Why are you dodging already? Wait, I'm sorry. Why are you dodging already? Hey, don't run! It's okay. Don't run. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Don't run. So logic. Pause. Hey, I wasn't done talking. I wasn't done talking, buddy. I wasn't done talking. It's going to be a tracking error number 1. So does logic? Yeah, tracking error. You're not able to pay attention. So does logic make things exist? Does logic make things exist? Yes or no?
Does logic? I don't know what that means.
Oh, good. Tracking error number 2. All right, go on ahead and provide your premises. Go on ahead and Yeah, it's a tracking error. You're not able to track the conversation. Go on ahead and provide your argument. Go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
Nope, go ahead. Nope, go ahead. Nope, we're not doing burden shifting. We're not doing pivoting. We're not doing any of that crap. What you're going to do is be a good boy. Nope, fuck your clarity. You're going to provide your syllogism and we're going to move on.
Just to let you know, Cody, because I saw him do on Unapologetic was when they took his same formula, his same logical
Okay, yeah,
structure.
this is all irrelevant. You're dismissed, sir. Now, I'm gonna give the argument. I'm gonna give the justification for each premise.
Anyways, what'd they do?
And as soon as the same, like this, they took the same structure, and they even confirmed the PQ setup, which Cap confirmed. And then as soon as they then plugged it into disprove God, he said that it was now an invalid argument.
So it's not even
I
a
never
valid
made that
argument.
claim.
And that he didn't accept their structure.
I never made the claim that it was invalid.
And
I never made the claim that it
hide
was invalid. Why are you lying?
and he tried
Why are
to
you
hide
lying?
behind.
Wait, why are you
I'm
lying?
Shut
not lying.
up, buddy. Continue.
Wait, do you
And
have
he
like? Do you have the?
I mean,
record?
it's on their VOD, so I mean, you can check afterwards.
wait.
But he
me a
also
follow.
actually speaking of lying, he claimed that there was an SEP article about about a particular argumental structure. If I remember the term correctly, it's the stalking horse. They checked on live and it wasn't there, and he admitted, yeah, I just kind of assumed that something like that would be there, so I just said it was there, which
Okay, Catholic, look, this is what we can do. This is what we can do. Shoot me a follow. I will pay you $50 if you find the recording of me saying that the argument they gave to kind of counter my argument is invalid.
Well, brother,
Verbatim.
it wasn't here, so I don't really care too much. I'm not taking everything that happened in the last as
Catholic. Shoot me a follow and give me the recording, and I'll pay you $50.
Why would I follow someone who claims to be Catholic and lies about it?
Okay, you don't have to follow me. Just when you get the recording, send me the recording. I'll pay you $50. Now, I'm gonna motivate each individual premise, but I have a sub point, which is just that I take it that understanding the actual content of the premises is something which should be procedurally prior to asking for the
use
motivation.
layman terms.
What about that wasn't layman terms?
All of it. Use layman terms.
He's saying that you
you don't understand the word
can't.
should?
He's saying that you can't ask for justification of a premise until after you've provided or until after the premise has been provided.
That's valid.
When if you were listening, Cap, though, what Cody was saying is like, as you list the premises, give the justification.
No. That's not what he said.
That's exactly what I was saying.
To provide. No, it wasn't.
Anyways,
but listen.
So that's what I was saying. That's what I was meaning. Now that you know that, let's move on.
That's fine. Okay, so I'll give you premise 1, and then I'll go into the argument for premise 1. Okay? Premise 1 just wants to say that a piece of evidence E confirms hypothesis H1 relative to a given set of background knowledge K.
All right, elaborate on all of that.
Okay, so a
break it all down.
Yeah,
all of it.
Hypothesis is a educated guess, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You know a lot about science, right? You know
nope.
what hypothesis is?
I know nothing. Elaborate on everything in layman's term.
Yeah, I just
pretend you actually know what you're talking about. So go through everything you just said and break everything down.
Yeah, so a hypothesis is an educated guess.
Skip past that. You already said that.
Okay. And then when we talk about relative to a given set of background knowledge, that's just to say that if we assume that everything in the background is true, right? That's what that part means.
Why would I do that?
Confirmation, I didn't say you had to. I'm breaking down what the terms mean, sir. Now, confirmation just means that you have reason to affirm one over the other, okay? So now I'm going to repeat it, given that I broke it all down.
No, you don't need to repeat it. You just said it in layman's, finally. You had to repeat yourself 3 times, but you finally said it layman's.
I was defining the terms, but I didn't actually repeat what the premise was saying.
Yeah, keep it all in layman's. Keep it all in layman's. Say the entire thing in layman.
So let's imagine, right, because I'm just gonna talk to you like you're 5.
Yes.
Let's imagine that we have some observation, right? And then we have 2 educated guesses, right? You have educated guess number 1 and educated guess number 2. Now, educated guess number 1 and educated guess number 2 can't both be true, okay? In both guesses.
What does this have to do with God?
I'm giving you premise 1, sir.
This doesn't
by the way,
matter.
You can have a situation where
it does have to
guess
matter.
1 and 2 can be true.
Huh? This is stipulated.
You can't have. I don't know what your scenario is.
It's stipulated, sir. Right, we're assuming this to be true for the premise, right? This is a hypothetical, right? It's a if-then statement.
What Cody asked for was not to have an assumption, but to give justifications for the premises. No.
Wait,
so
to be
if
clear,
you're saying premise 1, if premise
I'm
one
here for
is
the
an
host, sir,
assumption,
so everything you're saying is going to be dismissed.
He's a
Have nice day.
co-host. Everything
when you
you
want the
say,
50
hey,
No,
here's
I'm
what you're
here
gonna do. Shut up,
I'm here
dude.
for you, Evan.
Stop. Chill.
I'm here for you, evidence.
Stop.
Now, Catholic, if you want the 50, you can have the 50, right? Why are you still meeting?
I hear. Uh, That's
Yeah,
what people are
Cap,
hearing
you
right
need
now.
to fucking chill, dude. Why are all you guys the same? Hey, slow down. Slow down. Mute, unmute. Mute, unmute. Like, you guys are so fucking annoying. Talk like a human fucking being. Jesus Christ.
I'm actually giving it to
Shut
you.
up. I'm not done. Slow the fuck down. Say everything in fucking layman's term. If you can't, then you don't know what you're fucking talking about, and I'm throwing everything out in the trash.
Okay, perfect. Now, just to address this guy's point about it being an assumption, if you have an if-then statement, that doesn't assert anything to be the case. Okay? Because you can have
said
a
we are
conditional.
assuming this to be true, and there was no if-then statement in your premise.
I did give the if-then statement.
So. No, you said premise one was a definitional statement about hypothesis.
No, it wasn't a definitional statement.
Well, I'm already bored. Can we get to the evidence?
Yeah, how about you just start over?
Oh, okay, I'll give you the evidence. The evidence is, right? Now, let's imagine you have a pie chart, right? Because I have to break this down to you like you're 5. Let's imagine you have a pie chart.
Immediately being a dishonest interlocutor. Let's try this again without being a dumbass bitch. Let's try to do this by not being a 12-year-old toddler throwing a tantrum for clips. Let's do this in layman terms, like an adult, because you're supposed to be 18. I know nobody in KG is 18, at least not mentally. At least pretend to be the age that you're lying about. Let's try this again. Try again.
Well, that's what I was doing, to be clear.
No, you immediately went, no, I need to break this down like you're 5. Shut the fuck up. I've already said layman it. I've already said yes to breaking it down like I'm 5. Stop trying to repeat it. Stop trying to get your little jabs. Shut the fuck up. Stop trying to get your little jabs. Yeah. Stop trying to act like a fucking 7-year-old. If you want to act like a 7-year-old, go back to Ian, where you already failed today. Shut the fuck up.
You're performatively being a condescending little cock.
Yeah.
Just fucking have a conversation. Put the performance aside. Put the performance aside. I know you've practiced it in the mirror. Just put the performance aside and just have a conversation.
That's all we want. We just want a human being conversation.
I got you, man. Don't worry. Now, I find it a bit ironic how you accused me of being a 5-year-old.
Oh my God. Shut the fuck up, dude. Get on with it. I'm going to have to kick you and move on to the next KG loser if you don't get on with it.
Okay, yeah, I'll just provide you with the evidence. So let's imagine you have a pie chart, right? And the whole circle serves as the ways the universe could be, okay? You have a tiny slice of the pie chart that is the worlds that are able to permit life, okay? Now, our world falls within the tiny slice.
Hang on, I want to understand this. I know, I'm trying to clarify. So the pie chart, the big circle of the Venn diagram has everything in it, and then the small circle has like what, planets that host life?
No. Okay, so the whole circle is the ways the world could be, okay?
The way the worlds, which worlds?
The ways the universe could have been.
Okay, the ways the universe could have been. Okay, which we don't actually know the answer to, but go ahead.
Okay, so the circle is all the ways in which the universe could have been. Right? And the tiny slice is the ways that are able to permit life. Now,
okay, got you. So it's a fine-tuning argument. Got it.
Listen, if you analyze the tiny slice, the ways that are able to permit life is very little compared to the other ways the universe could have been, right?
Okay, yeah.
Now,
so you're fine-tuning the universal
table,
constants. The universal. Let me save you time. The universal constants are such that there's a narrow range that can support life. So you're drawing. Okay, go ahead. I already have the response ready, but go ahead. Finish the fine-tuning argument.
The evidence is that our universe falls within the tiny pie chart, the tiny slice on the pie chart. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why is this evidence, guys? Why is this evidence?
We already know it's fine-tuning.
Evidence is something that's expected if
to raise the probability.
The educated guess was true, right?
Educated guess? No, it's not an educated guess. It's just a bold
hypotheses claim. Are educated guesses, sir.
Yeah, now, the God did done it is not a true hypothesis. It wouldn't qualify as one in science.
It is a hypothesis.
It's a guess.
Yeah, it's an educated guess. Now, to be very clear,
is it testable and falsifiable? That's a criteria. Look up in science what's required for something to be considered a
are you
scientific
using the term in a
hypothesis.
different way than I'm using it, sir?
Well, you said
Hypothesis?
science, so
Yeah,
Are
yes,
you
he's
equivocating?
No, you are.
No, I
'cause
literally said in
Answer the
science.
question with a yes or no. Are you using the term in the way that I'm using it, sir?
I have no idea.
Yes,
How did
because
you
you
use it? Because
said-
you said
Okay,
science.
do you know how I'm using it, sir?
You said in science. So I would presume because you said science, you're using the scientific definition of the term hypothesis.
Yeah,
Am
well,
I
that's a
incorrect on
false
that?
presumption. I'm just using the term
Okay, so you
hypothesis to
used the
just
word
say,
science, but you weren't
yeah,
in
I was
discussing a
talking.
hypothesis.
Sir,
You said in
you need to calm
science,
down.
but you didn't mean a scientific hypothesis.
You need to calm down, sir. Now, to be very clear, by hypothesis here, we just mean a
More
theory
performative.
They're so
nonsense.
condescending.
that contains content. Okay? Now, all we're saying here is
They
that
make
the
me look
fine-tuning-
nice. Like these
I
guys
wasn't
make
finished,
me an asshole look like a nice guy. They make me look like
See-
the most
see why I
honest,
get
nice
so
Let's let
guy.
him
Why
get
am
through
I
the
constantly being
fine-tuning.
interrupted?
Let's let him get through the fine-tuning argument with window dressing so I can tear it apart for him.
Now, evidence is what's expected given
Oh, Jesus.
a view. The fine-tuning of the universe is expected given the view, right? Given God exists, this is what you would expect. Now, it's far
Is-
more expected. I'm not finished.
Wait,
Hold on,
why
I'm
would I
not
hold on,
finished.
Cap.
I'm
Why would
sorry.
I expect
This is
that?
this is gonna-
sorry.
This
I'm not
this is going to be a very this is
I'm
going to be
not
a very
finished.
important clarifying
You
question.
let me
Cap,
speak.
Cap, are you arguing for the Catholic God right now?
No.
Then
I'm
what
not.
God are you arguing for?
Yeah, it's just a mind that created the universe that wants to bring about value. Now,
No,
that's an irrelevant point.
No, because it is relevant. Because you have been going around on Ogar's live and many other lives claiming that you are a Catholic, and
Well,
then
the
as soon
definition
as
I gave is compatible with the Catholic God.
Hold on.
no, because
Like
Catholic
Catholics
no, because
affirm, Catholics
they-
affirm that this type of God exists.
no,
Do you agree?
Catholics. No,
Wait, hold on,
Catholics
wait. Do
affirm.
Catholics affirm that there's a mind that created the universe that wants to bring about value?
Is
Oh,
this
straw
God
man.
omnipotent?
Yes or no?
Is this
Yes or
God
no?
omnipotent?
Just a yes or no.
Is Cap?
Just a yes or no.
Cap, it's a straw man, and
Is
he's
God-
explaining why.
I just want a yes or no, sir.
Is God omnipotent,
Yeah, your question is
omniscient,
dismissed because I asked you a question before, right? Which was a yes or no
Yes.
question.
Your question is dismissed because it's a
Yes.
straw man.
Okay, so then it's not.
Okay,
So
so
then
Cap-
talking
Cap-
about Catholicism isn't
I'll
actually
answer him.
relevant, right? It's a
I'll
huge
answer him.
derail to the conversation. Now, if you
I'll
want that
answer him.
50, hit me up, man. I got you.
No, listen
Sean,
to me.
To be very clear, right?
No, Cap, you shut up and you listen to
you're
me right
being
now.
derailed. No one cares about
No.
you. You're dismissed. Have a nice day. Now,
Listen-
Sean, to
listen
be
to me
very
right
clear,
now,
the
Cap,
evidence
because
is expected
you-
under the view.
I'm
you're
gonna
derailed, sir. Shut the
I'm
fuck
gonna
up,
stop
right?
you too because
We're not interested in talking to
you put out a disputed premise and then you can't just drive on to the next point
Oh, I
without the
have
premise.
justification for each of the
Well,
premises.
no. Well, then stop and let me
Okay,
tell you
what's
what I
disputed?
Shut up.
What's
Can you
disputed?
stop him from over talking me?
What's
All right.
disputed?
Okay,
What's
Yeah.
so
disputed?
what I'm disputing is your claim that the fine tuning of the universal constants of the universe is what we would expect if there's an all powerful
I have
creator
reason
of
for
the
that.
universe. What's that?
So, and this is what I was trying to get
Wait,
into.
but
What I'm
notice how
trying-
nowhere in my
so
definition did I
I'm
say
trying
all
to
powerful?
I'm trying to explain why are you not
Wait,
letting me
but you're
explain
disputing
why?
something that I didn't say, right? Because
Yes,
notice
you,
how
you
nowhere,
literally said it. You literally said it.
no,
You
because
fucking said
nowhere
it,
in
you
my
lying
definition
piece of
did I
shit.
say
You
the word all
said it.
powerful.
You said
You
it.
understand?
Okay, is your
And
God all
that is-
powerful? Yes or no? Is your God all powerful? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm agnostic on that claim, sir. No.
Oh, so you don't know
Which
if your
is
God
not
is all
Catholic.
To
powerful.
be very clear, I'm
Which
agnostic
is
on that
not
claim.
Catholic.
Now, to be very clear,
Okay, so
that dispute, what you
so
just
you don't
disputed
know-
is dismissed. Right?
Okay,
Because
so-
I'm agnostic on that claim. I didn't make it. So you're disputing something that I didn't
okay,
actually
so-
say. You're shadow boxing.
Okay,
So
so are
thank
you
you.
lying? So
Now,
okay,
to
so
be
you're
very
a
clear,
Catholic.
I'm
You're a
curious
Catholic who
on-
say you're a Catholic and you don't accept the claim that your God is all powerful.
Yeah, there are versions of Catholicism which are neoclassical.
Oh, I'm
theistic,
sorry.
so-
My question wasn't there.
No,
If there are
that's
versions,
heresy.
are you a Catholic who does not claim that God
Yeah,
is
I'm a
all powerful?
neoclassal Catholic. Yeah.
Are so okay?
No,
so
that's
you don't.
heresy. To be
very clear-
so you believe it. So you believe in a weak God. That's fine. So all
No,
right, so
because I'm
everyone,
agnostic. God
hold
could
on,
be all
hold on,
powerful.
Cap. What's
God
that?
could be all powerful. I didn't make the claim he's not.
Okay. Are you
Right, so
convinced
you
that
saying
he's
I
likely?
believe in a weak God
are
is
you?
irrelevant.
Are you?
Now,
are you?
do you
can-
have
are
some
you?
reason
You're
as to-
you're talking
You
over his
understand that
defense
you disputed
mechanism.
a claim I didn't make, yes or no?
I'm trying to clarify your
Do
position.
you understand that
He
you disputed
denied
a claim I
it
didn't
on
make, yes
you.
or no?
Are you?
He did.
Yes or
not.
no?
Do you?
Yes or no?
Do you believe?
I'm not answering any questions until I get a yes or no. So is that a yes to the
yes or
question
no
or a
on
no?
what?
Oh, you didn't actually hear the question because you want to hear yourself
Because
talk.
because I was still
Do
speaking
you
when he talked
agree?
over me, so I continued speaking.
Do you agree that you disputed a claim that I didn't make?
Oh, that he's all powerful.
deny
Yeah,
that
I
God
agree.
is
I
all
agree.
power-
So I
Okay,
agree. You
perfect.
did
So
not.
that point is dismissed.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Don't stop being a coward.
So that
All
point
right.
is dismissed.
I agree. You said you didn't say God is all powerful.
Okay, so
Do
then that
you
point is
believe?
dismissed.
Stop,
for your
hold on.
trash ass.
Let me finish.
Stop. You're not good. How does it feel to lose?
Stop. All right. Do you believe? I'm not claiming that you know. Do you believe that your God is all powerful? Yes or no?
I told you I'm agnostic, which means I necessarily don't believe it. Right?
Okay,
You're not
so
able
you
to
don't,
track.
so you don't believe your God is all powerful. Okay,
Yeah,
all
I'm
right. So
agnostic.
so your God. So do you believe your God is so weak that he needs the universal constants in order to
I don't make a claim on
instantiate
the
life?
level of his power. I only affirm that he has sufficient power to create the universe. Right? He could be
Right.
stronger than that. He could be weaker than that.
If
Right? It
God
doesn't
is all
matter,
powerful,
right?
if God is all powerful, the universal
I didn't say he
constants
was
are
all
unnecessary.
powerful.
Oh, I didn't say you
he
said
was all
it.
powerful.
I didn't say
Wait, so then
you
why are you
said it.
talking about it? Stop
I
talking
didn't
about
say you
irrelevant
said
shit,
it.
Sean.
I didn't say you said
Stop
it.
talking about irrelevant shit,
If God
Sean.
is all if
Stop
God is
talking
if God
about irrelevant shit, Sean.
stop if
Stop
God is all
talking about
power
irrelevant.
if
Stop
God
talking
is
about
all
irrelevant.
power, if you're afraid of do me a favor, if you're a coward little bitch, let
Oh,
everyone
I'm
know
the
by
bitch. You're
interrupting me.
retarded. You can't track. Right? Stop talking about irrelevant shit, Sean.
All right, I'm gonna let this one slide, but you have used a hard slur.
No, I said smarted, right?
You
No,
didn't.
you said the R word,
So
you lying sack
I
of
deny
shit.
that.
I'm not going to allow you to run by slur like the coward you are this time. If you say it again, I'll allow you to run and concede by slur. But we can continue if you grow a pair of balls and want to converse.
I denied it. I slurred. Now, to be very clear, Sean, the point about all power is now irrelevant. It's dismissed. I don't want to hear the word all powerful come out of your mouth.
I don't care. Well, then you shouldn't be afraid to let me speak.
You're stuttering, sir. Lock
Then
in.
you shouldn't be afraid
stuttering.
to let me speak. All right,
Okay,
so
well, the
there's
point is irrelevant.
there's their performative bullshit instead of
Why are
having
you
a real
talking about
conversation.
irrelevant?
Do we want to move on to Kylo? Kylo's requesting too.
Yeah.
All right, adios, loser. Let's get Kylo.
By the way, it is heresy to deny God's omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence in Catholicism.
And we know he
and-
believes in an all-powerful God. He was just lying for Jesus because he was stuck and he has no integrity.
Well, because I've spoken to him before, he claims that he's not actually Catholic. He's just investigating it, so he's just LARPing.
Okay.
And the other thing is that
inquiry is a thing. Inquiry is not LARP. Are you crazy?
well, no, because inquiry is a very specific period within the OCIA process that requires
you have an
going
argument
to
that it's
church.
heresy. Hello.
Yes, because let's see. So, as far as the omni properties of God, that is part of the church magisterium, and to deny that is express heresy.
What do you take heresy to be?
Anything that is contrary to what the Catholic Church professes.
Yeah, true or false? He said he doesn't deny it, but that he's agnostic. Watch this.
So
Watch
he
this.
said,
No, true
I
or
am
false,
agnostic.
True or false, true or false. Did he deny it or did he say he was agnostic? Hold on, Sean. Sit back for 1 second, sir. Hold on,
Is
Sean.
a Catholic doctrine
True
all
or false that he said he's agnostic and he doesn't deny it?
He said agnostic, which means by necessity, I do deny it.
Oh my God! You think agnosticism is a denial?
That's what Cap said.
LARP check,
That's what Cap said.
LARP check.
So there we go with the talking over. There we go with the talking over.
Sean, you're talking about talking over when you try to jump Cap. When Cap was having a 1v1 and you jumped in, you thought you were the main character. I don't know. You're not talking about interruption, bitch.
There's the
performance. So let's get back to the main point.
All right.
Cap said he was agnostic, right? Sean, you can't talk about interruption. You joined the live stream and interrupted Cap. You were not even debating. You are not. I'll overtalk you. I'm louder than you. I can overtalk you. I can do the same thing. You interrupted Cap, so don't talk about interruptions. Don't talk about interruptions.
Is it Catholic
isn't that crazy?
Is it Catholic doctrine that God is all
powerful? I want a yes or no.
Did
Cap say he was agnostic? Did Cap say he was agnostic?
Is it Catholic doctrine?
Did he say he was agnostic? By the way, I control the conversation. You control no traffic.
Yes, he did. Is it Catholic doctrine that God is all powerful?
Now,
it's not.
under the interpretation
Is
that
it Catholic doctrine?
I'm about to answer that question.
I'll be just as stubborn. I'll be just as stubborn as you. I promise you. Is it Catholic doctrine?
I'm about to answer that question. There's a conditional.
Is it Catholic doctrine?
I'm about to answer. I'm about to answer.
Yes or no? Okay.
No, yes or no.
We're gonna hear yes
There's
or no
a
come out of your
condition.
mouth.
I'm gonna answer yes or no, but there's a conditional. If
No,
what Catholic said,
because
hold on, let me
there was
answer.
a-
Let me
no,
answer.
there was
Let
a
me
condi-
answer.
there was a
Don't ask me.
conditional
Don't
to
ask
the
me 3
agnostic
questions.
statement
Don't ask
because
me 3
Cap
questions. Let me
said-
answer.
That's
Let
a
me
yes or
answer
no.
that question.
That
I'm about to answer the
means
question. Let me
he
answer. Let
denies
me
it.
answer. Let me answer. So, if what Catholic said about the magisterium is true, then the answer is yes. If what he said was false, then the answer is no. Now, all that's relevant is if Cap committed heresy. Now, the claim that Cap committed heresy
God
is
is all
false because he
powerful.
never denied it.
He said he does not believe. Oh, so it's okay. One, it's Catholic.
You're nervous. You're stumbling.
Stop talking.
You're stumbling.
Yeah, you're the one talking over me as a
You're
defense
stumbling.
mechanism.
Yo, why are you
You're the
outside?
one
Mute your
talking
mic.
over me as a defense mechanism.
Bro, Catholic,
Enough with the
mute your
meta.
mic.
Have a fucking
Yeah,
conversation.
act that way. Conduct yourself like a person that wants to have a conversation.
Number
When
one,
you notice I can repeat back your behavior, you start getting nervous.
Stop
I'm
talking
giving you that
over me.
same spoon you were speaking to.
All right, thank you. So here's a great news. Since you're so intelligent, you don't have to be afraid to let me speak. All right, number one, it's Catholic doctrine that God is all powerful. Number two, he explicitly said he does not believe God is all powerful. Those two things are true, correct? Yes or no?
Yep, and that's not a defeater to his view, and I'll tell you why. So it can
I
be
didn't say it's a
Catholic.
defeater to his view.
Don't cry about interruptions. Calm yourself. It could be Catholic doctrine.
Sorry, I just got to put him in his place like the good little bitch he is.
Crier.
So
Look,
because here's the thing: in order for something to be heresy,
let me get the
in order for something to be heresy in the Catholic Church, it's not. It is not.
Let me finish the response.
You have.
Stop muting me. Let me finish
Sit your ass down. You ain't the main character. Shut your bitch ass up. You ain't the main character. Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down. Sit the fuck down.
If you know the church teaches X and you do not accept X, that is heresy.
Let me. What are you doing?
So here's the thing.
Let me finish.
Like Jay in the chat, he's running y'all down, yelling and screaming and talking over people and getting into the meta. Like you're stuttering. That is not owning anyone. That is not winning. That's not winning on ideas.
Crashing the fuck out. Oh my god. All right.
Yeah.
We'll move on to an actual human being.
But no, just like, because I've had experience with Cap, and like they talk about the inquisitive period, which is a period in the OCIA process, but it still requires you to go to church, go to mass, be active participants. And he said he hadn't been to church in a long time and hasn't even been attending classes. The inquisitive period is not just, oh, whoop-de-doo, I'm doing my own investigation. No, the inquisitive period is a specific process that then ends at I think it's called the rite of welcoming. And at that point, you are then considered a catechumen or a candidate, depending on whether you've been baptized or not. But the rite of inquisition is the entire period up to the rite of welcoming, where they knock on the door and they are welcomed into the church.
Yo, thanks for the super chat now, Heart. Oh man,
I mean, Kylo, you tell me to catch the 1v1 fade, but you then ignored me, focused on Sean, and ran from me when I was trying to point out that one, Cap did say that to be agnostic means to deny the claim and to not accept it. And then you tried to say, oh no, that's a tracking error on me, but when your own side said that. And then two, you try to run from the fact that neoclassical theism is not recognized by the Catholic Church, because not only, from the sounds of it, does it deny the omni traits of God, which are required to be Catholic, but they also claim that change is a part of God, which is straight up heresy to God's unchanging nature within the Catholic faith.
I don't think I've ever seen Kylo crash out that hard before.
Because he hasn't met an actual Catholic before.
literally just sat there screaming while Hurricane Katrina was going on in his backyard.
And well, never once did we get a reason to believe in God. We started to get the fine-tuning argument, which is like
Yeah,
there's
it's
like a million
ridiculous.
defeaters for it.
Yeah, it's so annoying. They don't even get
That's
through
why
the
I tried to
argument.
step in that's why I tried to step in and try to get Cap to admit what God he believed in, because
Wow.
he kept saying unapologetic that his God is not, like, he was trying to argue for I think it's called basic theism, which is not a God that isn't all powerful, all good, or have these omni traits, which isn't even unique to the classical theism. Classical theism is just what was called when you took Aristotelian metaphysics philosophy and applied it to Christian theology. But the truths of God's simplicity actually predated classical theism, and the truths of God's omni traits also predated classical theism.
Well, 21. How's it going? You over the age of 18, man?
Yes, I am. Did Cap bring up like the fine-tuning argument? That's pretty bad. Like you can just argue normalizability. Yeah, you can just argue normalizability.
I mean,
So
there's like five different defeaters just off the top of my head of why it doesn't make sense.
I agree, but like I think normalizability is a more like one of the most powerful defeaters to the thing.
What did you say? Normalizability? What? I haven't heard. What is that one?
Is this M's or M? So sorry, guys.
Hello?
Is this the M's or is this an M?
I think it's just M.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm above 18, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Cool. Which God do you believe in?
So when I say normalize, my bad.
Yeah, which God do both of you guys believe in?
I believe in a deist God.
Okay, and then you, 21?
I believe in a non-classical God.
And all what?
A non-classical God.
Okay.
All right. So, do you believe in all-powerful? 21. I guess you were here first. Do you believe in an all-powerful, like a triomni God?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Do you believe God is the creator of the universe?
Nope.
Okay. So do you believe in multiple gods or just one God?
One.
Okay. So one God did not create the universe, is not all-powerful. Is he all-knowing and or all good?
Nope.
None of those. Okay. What can you describe the God you believe in and why you believe in him? Or
yes.
Or she?
Basically, sure. Basically, if we take it back on time, like chronologically, and we say it was going to be like impossible nomologically to predicate phonetic to a representation, which basically just means
how are we going to get like any of that? I didn't understand any of this. Can you explain it like you're explaining it to a grandparent?
In layman terms, okay,
yes.
Nomology is basically just like the laws of nature. I think that's
okay.
That's
so just
standard.
say the laws of nature, please, and then so please start over.
So I believe in a God that justifiably ties a representation that under naturalism probably cannot be like justifiably tied.
Okay, what? So that justifiably, and then you lost me. Ties what?
Justifiably tied.
To.
Ties the phonetic to a representation.
What do you mean by the phonetic? Phonetic is like how we. My understanding of the definition of phonetic is like how we hear things. So that wasn't like a comprehensible sentence to me.
Phonetic is just any form like of sound identity.
Okay. Well, I don't. Is it just me? Or are you guys understanding this?
Are you trying to go down nomenological harmony?
Not really. I just use nomenology for another reason.
Is God just that which gives things their identity?
That specific thing, not everything.
No. So you said it is what gives the what was it? What was the term you used?
Which phonetic representation?
Yeah, the phonetical representation, and it's the tie from that to reality. So
no.
What about sound has
Besides
anything to do with the laws of nature?
Yeah, when I say like nomological, I just mean the sense like it's not gonna be able to be like with a non-metaphysical thing. So when I say nomological, it's just gonna be not possible by the laws
And
of
there's a
nature
lot of
alone.
background wind too. That makes it even
no,
worse. Are you
so
outside, 21?
Yeah, I'm smoking like an entire pack of cigarettes right now. Why?
We didn't ask that.
No, there's
Yeah,
just there's a lot of back when you speak. There's a lot of background noise. That makes it even harder to like understand what the hell you're saying. All right,
oh,
so
that's
can you give your argument and don't say phonetic? Say what you mean by phonetic and just give it in layman's terms.
in simple terms. Okay, so basically, I'm saying under atheism, there's no way to justify what you call an ox.
Fucking
I need to
what?
know what a nox. What is a
no,
nox?
an ox, like the bird, like the animal. So what he's saying is
Oh,
like, so
yeah.
it's
What
exactly
about
what I
atheism
said,
has
that
to do with a
under
fucking animal?
No, what he's saying is that under atheism, there is no justification to say a car should have the particular phonetical construct of a car attached to it.
Yeah, you're
as in the word
correct,
itself.
21. We just
actually-
lack a belief in a god. Do you want to demonstrate why we should believe in your god? Like, what the fuck?
Wait,
So he's
Yeah.
how are you
basically
saying?
arguing that he's arguing that language is objective.
No.
So hold on. The
No,
reason we assign phonetic sounds to objects or ideas or concepts is so that we agree upon this phonetic sound meaning this thing having a meaning that's an agreed upon meaning, so that we can facilitate
Yeah.
communication with each other. What the fuck does that have to do with a god?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So how did you infer this? Like, how did you infer
How
like
did I
from the
infer what?
representation?
How did I infer what?
The sound from the representation.
Oh, because I hear a sound and then I see the context in which like people are using the sounds, and I'm able to pick up on like by learning language. You want to know like how we learn
Great.
language?
No, I know this. I know this. I'm asking how
Uh-huh.
did you pick it from the representation, not just like a random noise.
no. But that's the point. And what I was saying earlier that y'all were incredulous about. He is literally saying that there is an objective reality to language that
But
is answered by
said
God.
no. He said no.
But the problem is that is exactly what he's arguing for, because
Let's get him there.
I think it's kind of complicated, but basically I'm just saying under naturalism, how would you like even infer that it's an ox from the representation? You just make some random noise.
because we are the
Because-
inventors of it. We make up the meaning.
We
Yeah.
see an animal and we
Yeah,
say,
but
hey,
that's
I'm
my
going to
problem.
call this animal a fucking rat. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and then like evidence and I we come up with like, hey, when I say this sound, it means this thing, and then now we're communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my problem.
Like-
How do you like a priori have knowledge of that? You just have some.
It's
I
not a
guess-
priori.
It's not a
knowledge,
priori.
and it's
It was
not
a
knowledge.
priori.
It's not a priori, and it's not even like a thing that where there's objective knowledge. It's just an agreement between us. So like, if I tell evidence first, if I say, hey, when you hear the word pineapple, that means stop spanking me. So he knows that Sean said pineapple. that means stop spanking him. That's just agreed upon phonetic sounds meaning different concepts.
Perfect. So I guess I'd not actually object that. Like, but from the representation of the pineapple, you never get that. Specific
Who
identity.
cares? Where does God come into play, dude? I don't give a
am
fuck about a
saying you
word.
can metaphysically predicate it. Sorry, sir.
What do you mean?
I
I don't
mean,
even know what you mean by metaphysically predicate. Why do you think most people? What percentage of the population, when you say, "Can you metaphysically predicate that?" will understand what the fuck you're saying? What percent of the population will understand
I
that?
think it's pretty simple, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's because you're a genius. So, what do you mean by that?
I'm a genius. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
you're
when I say
welcome.
metaphysically, when I say metaphysically predicate, I mean something outside nature, outside the laws of nature. Like, so yeah.
Language
why would
is nature. Language is
Yeah.
not outside the laws of nature. Language is nature. In order for us to speak and have language, we need a physical
Yeah, sure.
medium to communicate that through. Either the air itself through speech, or text on a screen or a piece of paper. Like, there is something physical there. The language is within nature, and it's like even within mathematics, Like you have base 3 mathematics, which is a particular language of mathematics, and base 10, base 9 mathematics, or I guess base 10 as well. But like you have all of these different systems within mathematics that are all describing the same reality, because in I think it's base 3, 2 plus 2 equaling 11 is the same in base 10, where 2 plus 2 equals 4. Like,
yeah, that's just analytic.
Yeah,
but that's my point. Is there is nothing there that anyone would need to justify their usage of it. Like yesterday, Cody, you and I had this very conversation there was this very conversation yesterday about magic and miracles.
Oh,
in my system, in the way that I use language, there is something very distinct and different between magic and miracles. Whereas for Sir and maybe even you and several others, magic and miracles are identical, one and the same. But we're not wrong. One isn't right and one isn't wrong. It's just the communication now isn't clear when that distinction of the semantics isn't made clear.
Sean, I want to hear what you have.
Yeah. I want to try. Let me just try to break this down. Okay, 21. You agree that we have brains that can interpret things. We have eardrums that pick up vibrations of sounds, and that it's interpreted by the brain. We hear different phonetic sounds, right?
Yep.
Okay, we have brains that think and like do math, have language, etc. Right? You agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, so we have brains that can pick out distinct sounds, like, for example, evidence first and I can both recognize the phonetic sound pineapple, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're pretty close.
So evidence first and I, we can come to an agreement that that's Sean's safe word, and when I say pineapple, he stops spanking me, right? Like we can both mutually agree that when we hear the word, and vice versa, when we hear the word pineapple, that is the safe word. We can communicate that concept to each other, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Obviously.
So how, on what basis are you claiming God is necessary for that?
Yeah, because the identity of the pineapple is not gonna give the phonetic giveaway.
Holy
about
fucking
communication.
shit! What a load of
Is he
salad!
punking us?
Yeah, so we're actually speaking over
this guy. This isn't real,
dude. 21.
Wait,
holy
how?
shit! Okay, let's start this from fucking scratch. We know nothing about anything. We don't even know 1 + 1. Demonstrate why we should believe in this fucking metaphysical God.
Yep.
Fucking move on.
He's fucking with us. I think he's fucking with us. I really do.
I'm not really fucking with you. It's just a complicated argument.
It's complicated because you haven't used your brain yet.
Not really. I think we're just speaking over each other.
I see absolutely no incentive to say pineapple. Anyway.
So basically, you guys are like making an uninferable like identity.
21. Holy shit! No, shh. Why should we believe in your God?
I gave you my reason.
What?
Like,
words have nothing to do with God. How do words have anything to do with God?
It's just gonna be analytic, like analytically related.
That is not a fucking explanation. Analytic is going to be analytic. What the fuck? Explain how God has anything to do with this.
Yeah, I just told you it's gonna be analytically related.
You didn't say shit. You just fucking begged the question. The answer is the answer. The question is the
Notice
answer.
his pace picked up. Notice the words got longer and the pace picked up. That's like the Phil Bro. Is there like a Phil Bro class that you guys take online?
Yes, KG. It's a Discord.
Yes.
I'm not in KG. What?
No, you're worse so far. At least KG can we understand what they're saying, even though it's stupid. We understand it. You're just throwing out fucking word salad. 21. What does analytics have to do with words? What do words have to do with this God?
Perfect. So the analytics is not gonna have to do with with what I'm proposing. It's gonna have to do with the predication of God, like what God predicates. So I have to give an analytic definition.
Again,
first.
how do you connect what analytic of what the fuck are you talking about? Data. Like
Simply
what data?
What do you mean by data?
That's what you're saying. The analytics, the data. What does data about what have to do with what this God is?
No, that's not what I mean by analytics. I mean a more philosophical conception of it.
Then
What do you mean
fucking
data?
use your words, dude. You're an
Don't
adult.
use, how about this?
That's his no. That's his argument. That's the
21.
problem. His argument is words.
Hold on. Zero philosophical jargon. And if you realize what you're communicating is garbage, let us know by using more philosophical jargon. So like hide what you're actually saying behind jargon if you know that your ideas are garbage. So continue
That's
without
a
the
sad hominem.
jargon.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean that's an instruction.
That wasn't an ad
So-
hominem. Define ad hominem real quick.
Yeah, it's a personal attack on the character. It's an informal fallacy.
In comparison, so it's when we attack you and say you are wrong because you're stupid. Me saying you're stupid is not an ad hominem fallacy.
So two things. One, I didn't say you're wrong because of it. And two, it wasn't even a personal attack against you. It was an instruction. It was an instruction to, if you realize, and now maybe you don't, if you realize that what your idea is garbage, let us know
I'm about to fall
by
asleep.
hiding
Oh my God.
by hiding it behind philosophical jargon. If you truly understand it, you can communicate it without the jargon.
All I'm getting from this is this God doesn't exist and he's a waste of my good oxygen.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, he agreed. Bet. Thanks for the concession.
So, I just want to respond something real quick to Phoenix in the chat. That was a bad conversation to come in on if you want an idea on how Cody normally interacts with people that are good faith, because that guy just wasn't. And the frustration, and I have this, and I love philosophy. The frustration with the Philbro jargon is not a frustration with philosophy in and of itself, but they are LARPing philosophy to make it harder for people to have access to the information and thus drive them away from truth as opposed to lead them to truth.
Yep.
Yeah, CT is a great demonstration of how I interact with good interlocutors. CT is a Catholic. He's of the Christian faiths, and we disagree on that entirely. But here he is, up as a co-host, fucking having a good time.
Well, once the KG clan left, I started having a better time.
Oh my God, they are. To my knowledge, none of them are over the age of 18. First of all, they just lie on TikTok to get on, and they just dick around for clips. To my knowledge,
I wonder if they like in the high school cafeteria, if they sit around like flinging this jargon around, like, and if like people around them are like, oh, they're so smart, like if they're actually impressed by
I think they use a lot more grunts and
school.
groans in their circle jerk in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more of like a good argument.
Oh no, I was homeschooled, so my experience was very different.
I would hope you didn't have that then. God damn. Okay. Well, now that that's refreshed, any callers on YouTube, click the link that is pinned in the... Oh, shit, that's why they're not on YouTube. I didn't link it.
Got too distracted with the KG bros.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know if you saw it, but Kylo was yelling instructions in
Yeah, I know,
in
it's
chat.
hilarious. Sideline. What a good coach.
Literally, at one point, he was even like, pick on Sean, like he can't take the hit or something like that, like a boxing coach.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. It's like, philosophy's super fun. Like, I love the idea that there's so many different ways to think and come up with ideas and truths.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. But when you're like,
Yeah.
well, you're just objectively wrong because my imagination says so, it's like, what the fuck? Or
Well,
the abracazam
even-
of the alakadabra and the pseudo is like, what the fuck, dude? Slow down.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. Because and that's why I was saying it's their whole argument is, oh, you admitted you didn't know something, I win.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, not just that. The performative giggling too, like you don't know. Yeah,
you don't understand what's going on. That's going to be a tracking error. Low tier rhetorical backshots.
Yeah. And here, the funniest thing is someone asked me for my definition of time, and this is how I knew he had a script, because most people will trip up and they'll include time in their definition of time, essentially. And I gave it almost like the way that one would describe physical measurements, about how it is just a form of measurement, essentially. And then he said that I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. And so I asked him, all right, fine, you give the definition of time then, and that's what I'll use. And he gave me, not quite verbatim, but pretty dang close, my definition.
Yeah. I'm actually a little disappointed that all the shouting hour over happened, because I like addressing the fine tuning argument.
It's fun to get into. It's a horrible argument. Like, it's just dumb, but it's fun.
It is. It's good and it's bad. From a logic standpoint, like it's objectively just a bad argument, but it can be a persuasive one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's a difference between an argument being sound and an argument being persuasive. Those are two independent things.
Phoenix requested. I figured Phoenix was a friendly. What's up, Phoenix?
Hey, man. I just thought I'd hop in and see what's like. I'm not very philosophically versed, but I have intuitions, and I've looked at philosophical ideas behind them.
Sure. Yeah. You over the age of 18, brother?
Sorry, what?
You over the age of 18?
Oh yeah, I'm 26.
Okay. Do you believe in a god currently?
Yeah.
Okay. Which god?
Yahweh.
Oh, the storm god. Oh, it's crazy cool, dude.
So just to let you know, Phoenix, because I hang out in these spaces a lot. When someone asks you what god do you believe in, they're not asking per se a name. They're asking more specifically what religion you are, because as Cody demonstrated, Yahweh could refer to the storm god that many historians think the Abrahamic faiths took inspiration for their god from. It could be the Jewish faith, the Christian faith, of which, as you know, there's many denominations.
Right.
45,000 to be exact.
Or the Islamic faith. So what the reason why they're asking is they want to know what are your, to be a little uncharitable here, precognitive biases that you're walking into the conversation with. Like, do you hold, like, for example, the Jewish faith, depending on your tradition, they don't hold to an omnibenevolent God in the same way that a Christian would.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that is why when they ask what God do you believe in, they're really more so asking, what is your religious background, or what are your presuppositions that we need to be aware of as we get into this conversation?
Yeah, so I'm going to guess you're a Christian, Phoenix.
Yeah. Catholic Christian, yep.
Okay, cool. Oh, bet. CT have at it. Well, no. We're going to do this different, because CT does genuinely believe in it. So I want to, why do you believe in this God?
I mean, to be fair, it's like growing up and looking at the world, I see a lot of contingent things. This might be a bit of an assumption or an intuition, but I figure, okay, the universe itself seems to be a contingent thing. There must be some basis ground for reality, so I call that God. And then the question is, okay, has this reality like revealed itself to us? I trust the traditions of the Christian faith. I think that they probably have like the best evidence for like miracles. I haven't like looked too deep into it, but it just seems like.
Can we address these one at a time? Because you got into miracles, that's a whole separate topic. So you said contingent.
We don't have to get into miracles.
No, that's fine. So the universe, you see contingent things in the universe. Now, by contingent, you mean like caused things, or do you mean things that could have been some other way? Because I've heard that term used different ways. I want to make sure you're. Yeah. Just what do you mean by
things that it seems like they could have been another way?
Okay. Yeah, there are things that could have been another way. Now, you see for example the speed of light, and you see like the laws of nature, right, and the laws of logic. Could those have been any other way?
I don't know.
Okay, so
And
that's my point. That's my point, is that we have contingent things. We have some things that may be contingent. I intuitively tend to believe, like, for example, the laws of logic couldn't be any other way, but I can't prove
Yeah.
that. There's a problem. There's a well-known problem in philosophy where to prove logic, you have to use logic, which is circular. But the point is, like, some things in nature may or may not be contingent, but then there's a couple more problems. One of them is that there's something called a composition fallacy. That means the property of the parts of the whole. It's to claim the components of the whole. These individual components have this property, therefore the whole has the property, and that's not always
Right.
the case. Because, so for example, every brick in a wall could weigh 2 kilos, but the wall itself isn't going to weigh 2 kilos.
And
Wow, that's loud. Catholic, I don't know if you're dumping into ice or something.
Well, yeah. So it was just more of like, so you need to be careful of the composition fallacy. I don't think, and this could be my bias speaking in, but I don't think, and I did have a very long conversation with someone else showing why it's not the case of a composition fallacy, but the contingency argument as Phoenix is presenting it falls into the error of modal collapse, as well as the issue of other non-contingent things existing, as you were presenting, Sean, of like, say, the laws of logic. Now, someone like Phoenix might be able to get out of it saying initially by saying, well, the laws of logic are describers. You know, they couldn't have described reality any differently, but they don't cause reality to be what it is. And so what I'm looking for is something that not only couldn't have been different, but also causes other things. But that's when you get into the modal collapse of where now everything has to be this particular way, and so no true contingency arises. So Phoenix, if I was you, I would start looking into the contingency argument, not under the modal sense, but under the classical sense where it's about dependency. Now, there might be some other issues that Sean and Cody would bring up in regards to that. But that is going to be a much stronger approach to get to what you're looking for, especially within the Catholic faith.
Yeah. I hear that. That's the thing about like philosophy. Like I like it, but like you end up finding like different counter arguments for like everything. And so at a certain point I tend to, rely on my fundamental intuitions to a point. If something comes in that like really breaks that, then I might like reconsider. But
well,
like I think
the issue that I have with the modal contingency argument is that the type of God that Catholics believe in is not necessarily one that couldn't have been different. What we believe in, because are you familiar with the dogma of divine simplicity within Catholic thought? Yeah. Okay, so if God his act of creation is the same as his essence, the same as his identity, and we also say that God freely created, then God could have not created. So it's possible for God to have been different. Therefore, according to the this particular interpretation of the contingency argument, that's not even the God that you and I believe in. This is a God that cannot be different, whereas you and I believe that this God could be different in some capacity as far as like he could have created versus not created.
That's interesting.
So
I want to interject here a little bit, Phoenix, and bring up something that CT is not going to be able to do. CT is a believer. I personally love you, CT. I'm going to deconstruct the fuck out of you, Phoenix. So to believe in this Abrahamic God requires a lot of presuppositions and a lot of gaps of knowledge. The first thing first is one thing you already mentioned, the universe being contingent. That's just blatantly not true. Like there's no evidence that it was or even could have been created.
Right.
Here's a logically
Contingency
sound
isn't the
argument
same as
for you.
created.
Sure, yeah.
Just FYI.
It's a form. You can be like my hand is contingent upon my arm, but my arm is contingent upon me even existing for it to exist.
Yeah,
If you're
I was just
saying, if you're saying dependent,
yeah,
could it be
that's different
dependent
than
and
cause.
yeah, can it be dependent and not have been created at some point?
Yes.
Right. So here's one argument. I have brought it up with certain physicists like Blitz, and they don't hold to it, but I still find it very strong. Energy, first law of thermodynamics, cannot be created in our local universe. It can't be destroyed either. If it exists and it cannot be created, it has therefore always existed, because it can't be created, but it does exist, right? Therefore, there's no need for a creator for it. So the closest thing, nothingness cannot be. Nothingness has no attributes. Nothingness cannot create. So there had to have always been something. One something would be energy not being able to be created. So what we do know about the Big Bang Theory is CMB radiation, cosmic microwave background radiation. Radiation is a form of energy. We can literally observe it with our eyeballs and watch it based on the heat signature and see how old each heat is based on how long it takes for light to reach us. And we can see how old it is and where it came from based on which one's older than this one, et cetera. And we can follow a graph back. And we see that in the beginning, there was a hot, dense state, that of energy. That then expanded 13.8 billion years ago. Again, we know this thanks to the radiation. The universe has existed for all of time, which would be the definition of eternity. Do I know if it is infinite? That I don't know. There's nothing logically wrong with infinite regress, so I can hold to that, but I don't know, so I don't state that as true. But what I do know is the universe has existed for all of time. So I have no justification to believe that any being created it in the first place.
Importantly, neither do cosmologists. They still don't know whether there's an infinite time arrow into the past, and there very well may be.
And to further affirm this, even Thomas Aquinas himself said that it cannot be logically, aka scientifically, demonstrated that an infinite past is impossible. So you and I as Catholics
that
take
is
that
so
as,
impressively smart for how long ago he said that. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And so for him, it is a matter of faith, a matter of revelation. Like he's saying that the only way that we as Catholics can definitively say that there is a finite past is because this is what God has revealed to us.
So
Which
yeah,
I know.
what I wanted to continue saying is so somebody, why hasn't somebody so far, because we have all these cosmological models that are in scientific journals, many of them with that have infinite time arrow into the past, why hasn't somebody just submitted for peer review, because it's supposed to be infallible, logically infallible, and based on true premises, everything premises about science, the contingency argument? Hey, you cannot have an infinite time arrow into the past because here's the contingency argument. Now all the infinite the models with an infinite time arrow are those have all been falsified at that point. Just do it. Well, like, why not?
Well, I would just say that so the way that Thomas Aquinas formatted his contingency arguments did not matter if there was an infinite past or not. I know they're often presented that way, but please don't mistake the Kalam cosmological argument for it.
I didn't mention
yeah.
the Kalam.
Yeah, no, but a lot of people do. So I was just more of like speaking into the ether. Sorry, that wasn't directed at you.
No, it's okay. And Scientific Smith said, Snitches in the chat said also, whether or not the universe was created has nothing to do with life. That's absolutely true. Like, you know, so a God could create the universe, and then like life could come about just through natural processes, you know, or there's an infinite or a finite universe. Those are all independent of each other.
Yeah.
Like what created life is independent from what created the universe, if anything.
if it's all right with you, Cody, Phoenix, I would recommend shooting me a DM, and I can send you some information to
That's
help
fair.
you out.
That's fair. I appreciate that, CT.
But no, like, because the thing is, Phoenix, like, the questions that you were asking sounded very, very, very similar to a process that I went through. And I'd like to help you on that journey if possible. I definitely, don't begrudge your Cody or anyone else offering their perspectives as well, because that also is what helped me on my journey, was listening to people like Cody and their perspectives to find out the weaknesses within my own position. But yeah, like, just like I said, shoot me a DM. I've got a couple of videos and stuff that I'd be more than happy to send your way to help you with some initial questions you've got on this. But other than that, just keep asking questions.
For sure, I really appreciate that. Can I ask, are you a Thomist, or like how would you describe yourself?
I am a Thomist, but when you meet people online who claim that they're Thomists, a lot of them are very similar to, sadly, Phil Bros. They might know Thomas Aquinas.
I'm not.
Yeah. They might know Thomas Aquinas, but they just regurgitate him without truly understanding him, because the purpose, like, Thomas Aquinas valued knowledge and truth to the extent that he didn't care where it came from. He is the reason why we integrated Aristotelian philosophy into the Catholic faith, because up until that point, Aristotle was hated. There was a little bit of a tolerance for Plato, but there was a lot of hatred for Aristotle. But Thomas Aquinas helped incorporate Aristotelian logic. He also incorporated a lot of Islamic philosophy into his Summa. And so the fact that you have so many people now that are just like, no, if it's not in the Summa, I don't accept it, is very contrary to the way that Thomas Aquinas would have approached.
I want to do something real quick, CT, if you'll let me in shot. So here's what I'm going to say, Phoenix. I personally genuinely believe that it is just inherently very dangerous to societies to accept anything based on faith, any indoctrination. If you find yourself not being able to accept the ways that we think, I would argue that CT is probably the best person that you could talk to about your quote unquote faith. But right now, I would really like to try and challenge you as much as possible with Sean. The reasoning, I believe that it is inherently dangerous to be religious in any sense, is it requires, CT, I love you so much, do not take any offense to this. It requires a lack of critical thinking. Indoctrination, by definition, is spreading a belief uncritically. To have faith, by definition, is going to believe in something with or without evidence. Specifically, in Oxford Dictionary, it's going to be belief based on spiritual conviction rather than proof. What is proof by definition? Proof is going to be evidence and facts leading to true conclusions. What is evidence by definition? Evidence is going to be facts and information leading to true conclusions. So all we need to really think critically is A, being able to withhold judgment on something that we have absolutely no evidence for, and B, only granting truth to things that we have evidence justifying it for.
Yeah.
So when it comes to God claims, the first thing, the universe, that's like the number one thing that we always go back to. Was the universe created? Right now, the answer is absolutely fucking not. Not possible. It's not possible to create energy. The second thought is it possible for something outside of space-time to interact with space-time? No, you can't have A and B causal relation, cause and effect, if there's no cause and effect there, i.e. time, change. So the Abrahamic God just objectively is not possible to exist. Now, CT's got some good arguments when it comes to a temporal God. Those are fair, and we can grant those ideas, and we can discuss them, but it still comes down to this. If I have...
Atemporal, just FYI.
Yeah, atemporal. A pause temporal, like a God in time. That's totally possible as well. Here's the hardship.
No, my view is that he's
you are
outside of
atemporal?
time.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about that. Going to shit. Where was I taking that? Fuck.
Just how the Abrahamic faith is incompatible with reality.
Okay.
Evidence.
Metaphysics versus objective reality. So here's a fun thing to think about. Metaphysics are going to be abstract ideas, hypotheses, thoughts about what could or could not be true about reality itself. So something like if I make a framework around unicorns, like the metaphysical creature, the magical unicorn with the horn that shits out fairy dust, I can say if this unicorn existed, would it have scales? Would it have fur? How would it evolve, etc.? How could it live? Could this interact in this world based on these laws and principles of this world? If not, could it work in this possible world with these slightly different laws? That is going to be our metaphysical frameworks. You cannot take this metaphysical being and then just magically say it does exist in our world. If I tell you that I have a unicorn in my backyard, you're going to require empirical evidence, i.e., something that is going to be demonstrable, observable, testable. You're not just going to trust me when I say I can fly. You're not just going to trust me when I say I have a gnome in my backyard. That is how I take God arguments. They are saying that there is this being that just exists. Cool. Why do you know about this? Well, the book said so. Okay, well, why do you trust the book? Well, the authors of the book. Okay, why do you trust the authors of the... It just goes back and back and back and back. There's no way to empirically test a metaphysical claim. Therefore, I withhold judgment. When there is evidence, though, that shows that it's not possible for the metaphysical claim, I have a justification to say it's not possible, therefore untrue, therefore false.
I really appreciate like sharing that view, and I guess there's like two things for me to consider here, because I have honestly, I think, to the extent that I could, considered, okay, what if my religion was false? What if atheists have it right? I considered that, and it kind of led me quickly, personally, to this idea that what really matters is what is practical, and that led me into a sort of cruel line of thought where I was like, okay, it's just all about me and what I want. And I was scared by this, so I said, no, I'm not gonna just trust this. This is something in me saying that this is not the way to go. Um, so yeah, that there's that part of it, and then there's also the other part of me that understands that we shouldn't just accept things blindly, and kind of understands that personally I don't have as good of a reason as other people to believe in my faith. But I do think that other people have put a lot of legwork in. I don't think that the Catholic Christian understanding of the world is unreasonable. And I think that basically we when it comes to this stuff, hold on, I'm losing my train of thought.
You're good. Take your time.
And
then
thanks.
Sean, if you want to give a response, I'm more of a nihilist, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to be able to help him emotionally.
That's fine. I got you.
I guess like what I'm getting to is that, you know, I do put a lot of what's carrying my faith tends to come from like tradition,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's a tradition that has helped humans immensely.
Okay.
I don't think that's not evidence that it makes it true, obviously.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, but I don't know where else to go really,
Sure.
and I'm also kind of like I'm kind of like, okay, like this is a coherent, rational way of viewing the world, and at a certain point, I understand personally that I am never going to have all of the data. There's going to be people who in the future have data that makes what we're looking at look like, you know, child's play. And so because of that, you know, there's this intuitional trust that, okay, if I want to live a good life, if I want to be a good human being, that involves um accepting certain moral standards that I don't yet understand. Because if people in the past had done that, things might have been a lot better.
Yeah. Can I
Yeah.
touch on all that, and then hold on, let me because I'm writing down moral standards. Okay, and then we don't have all the data. Okay, so a couple of things. One, let's start with the correct mindset. Now this part you can't help. Whatever your answer is, it is, and it's totally fine and it's human. Do you want, irrespective of whether it is, if you could have it your way, would you want? I think it's Catholicism, right? That's your religion right now. Would you want Catholicism to be true?
I think so. I think personally, biases held, I think that it is a really good, possibly the
Okay.
best explanation of the world, and that's why. But
No,
like,
well, not just if
maybe
you're convinced by it, but do you have an emotional attachment to it? Irrespective of whether you're convinced by it,
to be
do you have an
fair,
emotion?
yeah, I'm gonna admit that
Okay.
there's
No, that's good.
rituals that have really, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I wanted to get to, and that's totally fine, and it's human. I don't want
Yeah.
cancer to be real, but it is, and I have to deal with reality. But it's important to put yourself in the right mind state. So okay, so we've established, and I also want there to be an afterlife. I don't necessarily want the Christian God to be real, but I want there to be an afterlife. But I'm
Right.
still an
Okay.
atheist. I have to deal with the reality, right? So
Hmm.
so it's good that you are honest with yourself that you have that bias. Now here's a second and really important question. If it turns out there is no God, not only is Catholicism wrong, but all the religions are wrong. If there is no God, even though that might be uncomfortable for you, would you want to know that that's the case? Or would you rather
I
continue believing a lie?
I think I would want to know that that is the case, but I think
Okay.
that I wonder if it would turn me into a monster.
No, I by talking to you this far, I highly doubt it. And
And if I
we'll
like,
get to that.
just if I may interject, just 2 points, like, and this is not to undercut anything that Cody or Sean have said, but to help Phoenix in this journey. So two things, Phoenix. The first is, if God is true and you desire and value truth, then no matter where you go, as long as that is at the forefront, you're going to find truth.
Yeah.
And then the
Okay.
second
I
thing,
appreciate that.
and the second thing is that even in the Catholic faith, we state that morals are objective to the extent that even a non-religious individual can use their natural reason to arrive at what is morally right and just.
Yes.
So you don't have to become a monster.
I hear that. And absolutely, like, Romans, it
I was
talks
going to
about
get
the
to that.
law. Yeah. I really do believe in that, and it's just a question of personally, because like there are things that I can appeal to that tell me, okay, I shouldn't just make it all about myself. I shouldn't just use people. But
Phoenix, we're gonna
yeah.
get to that. I'm not even worried. I'm not
Okay.
even worried about you morally. We're gonna get to
Okay.
that. I wanted to give you a good frame, like a starting point, because here's the thing. Everything evidence first said about how to look at things, believing things based on evidence, not accepting things with lack of evidence, one way or the other. Like if there's lack of evidence, you don't necessarily believe something is false either. You need evidence for that as well. But having the right mind state as you go on this journey of exploring your beliefs is really important. So you've identified a personal bias. That is that's the starting point to mitigate the bias, that you want there to be a God, you want Catholicism to be true. So just having that awareness, to try to like know that when you're looking at what's actually true or looking at evidence, just being aware of the bias helps mitigate it. You've identified that you want to know the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And it could be that the truth is, hey, maybe there's a God. That would be great for you. Or it could be that you find strong evidence there is no God. Or it could be, hey, I'm not convinced there's a God anymore, but I'm not convinced there's not. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. That's okay too. It just means you don't have you have not established that there's evidence for or evidence against. You're just neutral at that point. That that's okay too. Now on the standards, you're worried about turning into a monster. Let me ask you this: if a child is about to be, right now, the you that you are right now, if a child is about to be harmed, do you feel compelled to help that child to the point that you're willing to accept some risk to yourself to protect that child?
Yes.
Okay. Is this now when you internalize this thought in your mind, because you have access, you're the only one that has access to your own mind, is that an emotional response to a strong desire to protect the child just for its sake? Or are you doing a calculus in your head like God wants me to protect child, and now you're just like in obedience phase? Or is it an actual and emotional reaction that you have?
Yeah, I'd say it's an emotional reaction that I have.
That's not going away, brother. If you end up like you stop your belief, you're a human being, you have empathy, you have mirror neurons in your brain, you don't like seeing other people suffer, especially if that's like the vulnerable populations like children or small animals. You get what I'm saying? That is not going away. You don't have to worry about what you're going to turn into just because you don't if you stop believing that a God exists. So
Yeah, I hear that. I just like I absolutely think that you know, those feelings won't go away. But I also personally like know that when I was going down that path of like, okay, let's just for an experiment, let's just like accept the idea that God isn't real.
right,
Like when I went down that path, I was like, okay, these feelings I feel are real and they spur
right,
me to action. But
right.
the conclusion that my rational mind came to was I should evolve past these. I should
No.
evolve to be
Can I?
someone who just, you know, gets what he wants, you know.
Could I
Go ahead,
interject here?
scientific snake. Yeah.
Yeah, so evolutionarily, we've evolved to be empathetic creatures for a reason, at least empathetic to those of our own species. Now, some people are able to find the ability to reach beyond that. So hence why we've got people who participate in veganism and other things. But generally speaking, the reason why humans feel empathy for one another is because of specific areas of the brain, like the anterior insular and the anterior cingulate cortex, which play really crucial roles in pain perception and emotional empathy. And without these areas, you would be worried about not feeling empathy for somebody else because you physically would not have the capacity to. And that's where individuals with sociopathy and psychopathy come into play. That being said, somebody like yourself, simply not believing in somebody and having simply not believing in like a higher quote unquote power is not going to strip you away from these emotions. And the quote unquote logical thought that you see with like selfishness comes from more of our tribalistic nature and our ability to want to protect those who are more closer to us rather than those who are farther away. You can easily overcome this by just simply recognizing, hey, what I want, what I am doing to this other individual who I may or may not know, who I may not like, if you're voting for like a policy or something, who this policy may or may not affect, but I want this to happen to myself. If you say no to that, then you clearly still have empathy. You clearly still have that emotional compassion. And so simply not believing in somebody is not going to strip you of the capacity, that physical capacity, unless you're physically like jamming a rod into your brain and giving yourself a lobotomy in that specific area, which I highly doubt you're doing when you become an atheist.
No, I appreciate that. I guess the thing personally was like when I was thinking about this, it's like, okay, I understand that evolutionarily the human race is a social animal and we've evolved to, you know, want what is best for one another to a degree. But if I take like religion and God out of the equation, I tend to think, well, there are people who have risen to a certain status to where what affects other people doesn't affect them as much. And so if you can rise to that sort of status, then why bother with other people if there's not really like some sort of morality? Like I could submit to the idea of, oh, this is better for the species, but at the end of the day it's like, if I don't have an afterlife, if I don't have not just an afterlife, because that's not all that is, you know. I like if there isn't really a right or wrong, if it's all just based on social stuff,
There
that
isn't
matters very little to me.
It,
there isn't a
if
right
I
or wrong. Even if a God exists, it's still morality is still subjective,
I
because
mean,
Mhm.
you have to, and that's a separate. Others may disagree. Even atheists, some atheists are moral
Mhm.
realists. But the
well
bottom line
the
is,
the other thing, Phoenix, like the way that you're describing morality right now, like, and it's not an uncommon position, but it's not one that's entirely faithful to the Catholic thought and philosophy on what morality is. Because like you started appealing to, you know, the afterlife as a justification for you doing a good thing.
Yeah, and I realized what I was doing. I was like, wait, it's
Yeah,
not just about the
yeah.
afterlife.
And so that's why I was saying is like I think like at the end of the day, the fears that you have, in my perspective, are unfounded, even if Catholicism is false and you end up moving and leaving away from the Catholic faith. Now,
Okay.
One of us.
Now I do
want to
think
ask a question before I finish there, if possible.
Sure.
So the reason why I wanted to ask a question is because you're saying like without this, like, and let's move past like the idea of an afterlife, but let's just talk about like the Catholic faith in general. If you saw a woman who got raped, do you think it would be right for the rapist to be told that he should marry the rape victim and then pay the father 50 shekels?
No, and I don't think the Catholic faith would say that either.
Actually, it does.
Okay,
You're
Phoenix,
referring,
after
like-
this stream, DMCT, amongst these
Yeah.
claims, we read the Bible very differently. There are 45,000 denominations of Christianity. CT is a very specific type of Catholic where I agree with a lot of his arguments. I do not agree with what I would consider the leap to a
Metaphysics.
personal God. Our metaphysics are very different. So all these things, reach out to CT after the stream and he'll give you some good explanations. I was personally a biblical literalist. Bible fucking says it,
Right.
therefore I believed it. Morals though, brother, Oxford Dictionary, principles to determine right from wrong. These are created in societies. There's still societies where cannibalism is okay. There's still societies where it's okay to stone people. There's still societies that do all these, what we would consider horribly evil things.
Right.
We are social
Can I
creatures. We
ask,
have
is that-
empathy. We feel pain. We have nerve endings. That is why I kill and grape as much as I want to, which is zero. Because I understand what pain feels
Right,
like,
yeah,
so I
I've
wouldn't
heard
do that
that.
to another person. I need other people for
Yes.
my survival, so it's in my best interest to help other people survive. I'm a vegan, by the
No,
way. I used to be I was
Okay.
I was on the carnivore diet from the age of like 20 to 22, something like that. I went to
Yeah.
veganism just based on the objective facts, but morals are just they're subjective. Subjective just means in accordance with your thoughts, feelings, tastes, and opinions. Objective is
Yeah,
stance
see,
independent.
That really disturbs me.
Hey, I'm
like
vegetarian.
respectfully, you know.
Phoenix, here's what I was trying to explain before is even if a God exists, morality is still subjective because you still have to start. I'm hearing an echo. Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. I'll turn my radio down. Sorry.
Okay. That's all right. Yeah. So each person starts with their own personal values. That's the subjective part. Like, I do not value, I don't care what God exists, if it's Thor, Shiva, fucking Loki, Yahweh.
Loki would be dope
it
as
doesn't
fuck.
it doesn't matter. I don't care what they have to say about morality. If they told me, for example, torturing babies is good, I would tell them to go F themselves, right?
Yeah, First Peter 3,
right.
15:3.
Yeah, so I don't care about being told what to do. Now, divine command theorists or religious people tend to care very deeply about God said so. I have to oppose gay marriage. So now I'm going to oppose
I
gay marriage.
reject divine command theory, but yeah.
Yeah,
no, I
perfect.
hear you.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so divine command theory is basically basically you start with what you value. And if you value being told what to do by a God or God's nature, however semantically they want to say it, that's still a personal subjective value judgment. Now here's the kicker. Their subjective preference is to defer and outsource their morality to God's subjective preference. So they have two layers of subjectivity instead of one. Because if God has an opinion about how people behave, it's still a subjective opinion. Like if God declared, like, let's take something else that's subjective. If God declared Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Ashley is a great song, it doesn't make it now it's objectively great because God said so. No, God's just given his opinion. And if that song annoys the fuck out of you, you can't help that. Your eardrums are not objectively wrong. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? And so if you were in a situation where God said, remember the whole thing, like, you're willing to risk yourself to protect a child from harm. Now let's say God said, harm that child, and he has given that order before in the Bible, whether you know believe in the interpretation or not. But if God gave such an order, what are you going to prioritize? Do I value obeying God, or do I value avoiding harm and not harming the child? And for me, the answer is really fucking easy. I value one to an enormous extent. I value the other, not an inkling. I don't give an F about Shiva said so or whoever said so.
And that's to your credit. I mean, I say that as a Catholic. Like, if you truly believe what God is commanding is evil, like, I get why you would not do it. Like,
Right.
I'm not, like when it comes to the Bible, I believe in inerrancy, but when I say that, it means something very different than what fundamentalist Protestants say inerrancy means.
Morals are pretty simple, brother. You think eating fish is okay, right?
Yeah.
I'd say it's as bad as killing a person. I know that I'm an animal.
Right.
I know that I'm conscious, same as a tuna fish.
That's tough, and I respect you for that.
So it's like that's tough. I'm not going to change your mind. You're capable of changing my mind. But it's not just this thing that, like, you don't believe in a God and all of a sudden you're fucking Jack the Ripper. Like, that's no.
No, yeah, I hear that. It's just a matter of, like, would I be able to internally justify my own morals just based on what I like? Because for me, it's like, okay, if I like this and I don't like that, what does that mean in the grand scheme?
You're doing it now.
People like different things.
How are you justifying your morals now?
I justify them because I think they reflect an eternal standard.
Okay, so but a standard can be so an eternal God could make a standard like torturing babies is good, and he could set that as a standard. Does a standard being eternal mean it's necessarily good?
It depends on it depends on what you believe about the nature of God. If he could do that, I don't think God could.
Well, no, I'm saying if he did do that, would it be good? It's eternal.
No, it would actually.
So
be
Sean, just that way then this doesn't get into like a semantical thing and whatever, because I understand the point that you're trying to get at. Divine.
I'm trying to get at the point that a standard being eternal tells you nothing about whether it's good or bad.
And that's fine, but the example that you're using is not going to work it's going to work for a Protestant. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm just addressing what he said. I asked him I asked him what standard, or excuse me, what standard he like, or I forget how. Oh yeah, how he's justifying his morals now, and he says he's indexing it against an eternal standard.
And
so
in Catholicism, that eternal standard is independent of God.
Okay, well,
in a nutshell.
Okay, well,
in a nutshell.
Okay, what eternal standard, Phoenix, were you referring to?
Okay, this is going to be really hard because I think Catholic thinker is using like some theology that's beyond me to be able to.
Yeah, you were talking about God, right?
But like God is not just one being among many. He's not just like
no, I got you, but it
subjective standard.
God was your eternal standard, right?
God is objectivity itself.
Was God when you said your standard is or your justification was an eternal standard? Were you referring to God?
Yes, but I think I used eternal kind of wrongly.
Okay.
I think I used eternal to make it sound like, it's always been here. That's why. That's not why.
Yeah. No,
I should have used
got
objective standard.
No, I'm not. I'm not getting on you. It's just I like Catholic is
I just wanted to be
disagreeing with
honest
my
about that.
direction, and I'm no, that's fine. I really felt like I was tracking what you were saying and addressing what
The
you were
study
saying.
of ethics, Phoenix. That is the philosophy of where morals are derived.
But doesn't that change depending on the times?
No. So, well,
Society.
it's like science. It's like science, essentially, is so just like how reality in and of itself doesn't change. Like black holes didn't come into existence just because Einstein came up with a mathematical formula that led to our discovery of them. They always were there, but they weren't a part of the scientific consciousness. It's the same thing
Right.
for morals. That objective standard is always there, but our ability to understand it changes and evolves as we develop as a species.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But like, if there is no
What is
God
the
and there
standard?
is no, that's the question, right? Like,
Well, no, or that's what I want to know because from my standpoint, there is no objective standard.
Yeah.
right.
So many, at most, someone could say can cite their preferred standards that they subjectively prefer, and then just by decree declare it to be objective. What I would like to know is from Catholic, what is the objective standard? So, like, let me just explain my question a little bit because we use moral as like that's a moral or immoral action. Those are adjectives. And there are
Mhm.
adjectives that describe other things that are objective, and there's an objective criteria. So, for example, a head is objectively bald if it has no hair.
Mhm.
Water is objectively frozen if it's in a solid state. An action is objectively immoral if what's the objective standard?
Right. So I'm going to start with an analogy to help get to the point that I'm going to
CT, do
be
you know
driving at.
a moral realism argument off the top of your head?
Not
I'm trying to think of one.
not extensively. Have you but it's basically I'm not sure I like this term, but it's one that I think grasps what I am trying to get at. Intersubjective. So in the sense of like say the rules of chess, they're made up, like they could have been differently, but now
Yeah.
that they are what they are, there is an objective, and your goal as a chess player is to win, and there are moves that help move you closer to that goal, and
Yeah.
there are moves that help move you further away from that goal.
That's right.
So
I subjectively want to win, and if I want to win, then maybe knight f3 might objectively be the best move, but I still have to start with my subjective preference, which is to win the
mhm,
game. And there are times somebody may want to lose a game if they're. I won't get into specifics. I'm actually into chess, but someone may purposely lose or draw a game to help like in the candidates tournament if two people
yeah,
are from the same country and one
I'm
person is
I'm
in the
vaguely
routing.
familiar enough with
Yeah,
it to know what you're getting at, like the
yeah,
elo
yeah,
scores and stuff like that.
yeah. So somebody may subjectively have, but anyway, you still subjectively want to win the game. That's still, you
Yeah.
still have a subjective ought.
Seems he's got to
Yep.
dip real quick. Phoenix, you got to head out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool to like stay muted in here, but like I'll just
Well, I'll have to drop you down and get up next guest, but we can get you back up later.
Okay, I'd love that. Yeah.
Yeah, brother, of course. Also, don't forget to shoot CT and anyone on this panel a DM to get some further clarification as well.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, adios, brother.
Have a good one.
So
I'm gonna get. So Hannah's been in chat like going off. Oh, she ran.
oh no.
Rust has been waiting a fat fucking minute as well, so we'll get on him.
The moment I move my setup. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, so sorry for the wait, brother.
No, you're good. I just unplugged everything from my PC to go set up something else. Let me get it all plugged back in. Oh. All right, what's up? I'm good now.
Wonderful. Yeah, you over the age of 18, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and which religion do you follow, or God?
I'm an Orthodox Christian, so I defend perfect being theism.
Okay, what you got for us? Why should we believe in that?
Yeah. So I defend an argument called the anthropic argument. I'm
Sure.
not sure if you're familiar with
Anthropic
it.
principle.
Well, it's not called the anthropic principle. Well, I don't know what you're referring to by that, but there's essentially this principle that we adopt in anthropic reasoning called the SIA. Once we accept the SIA, we can move to theism pretty easily.
Okay, hit us.
Yeah, so the first step of the argument is just accepting the SIA, where the SIA just wants to say that theories or hypotheses that produce more possible observers being actualized are favorable in terms of predicting your existence. I mean, if we can talk about that. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, it's just not even the definition of a scientific theory.
I wasn't defining scientific theory.
Restate it again, then.
Can you restate it?
I'm talking about.
Can you restate it without using jargon, just like in simple terms that your grandmother could understand?
This is as simple as it gets. I can try to. Here, maybe I'll just articulate it again. You tell me what you don't understand, and I can try to explain it.
Sure.
So there's this principle in anthropic reasoning, and anthropic reasoning is just how we should reason about our existence. So the evidence here is just our existence. That's all it is. So specifically, indexed to me is just my existence.
Okay, so we exist, and now we're looking for an explanation of our existence. We already know. Okay, so what are you saying? You said the evidence is our existence.
Yeah. So the evidence. Okay. So anthropic reasoning is how we reason about our existence, and then our existence is our evidence for anthropic reasoning because, well, we exist. And then from there, there's different principles about how we should anthropically reason.
Okay, so what's the argument that God exists?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. So when we accept that, when we just understand what anthropic reasoning is, we move to these different hypotheses about how we should reason anthropically.
Why should we grant your anthropic?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. So essentially what we get to is there's two competing theories, the SSA and the SIA. So the SSA wants to say that there's no distinction in relative probability between two centers, where centers are just possible observers or observer states. Yeah.
How about this? Did your God create the universe?
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry, I got a phone call.
Yeah, you're good. Did your God create the universe?
Yeah, I think it's like.
Why should we believe that?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there with this argument. So
you could just provide the justification.
I heard somebody. That's what this is. It's the argument is I have to lay it out.
Arguments don't make things exist. So your God created the universe, right? It's an empirical claim. Demonstrate it.
Yeah. Well, the empirical evidence is your existence. I already said.
No, it's not. That's not evidence for a God creating it. It's evidence for us existing.
Yes. Well,
the evidence for why we are human beings would be evolution.
Well, I'm not talking about why we're humans. I think we could be non-humans.
Well, us existing is not evidence for Klombadrov creating us. Us existing is evidence for us existing. Evidence of me existing is evidence that my parents fucked.
I can explain it. If I could lay out the argument, I could tell you why it's more probable.
Well, no, Rust, if I may, because I think I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I haven't even hold on before you interject. I just want to say I haven't even gotten to talking about what the SIA is.
It's because you're not getting to the point. We don't need anthropic reasoning. You just need justification.
That's because you guys keep interrupting me and asking me to explain, which I'm fine to explain in good faith, but I mean, it seems like we're trying to avoid going down the actual dialogue tree.
You're avoiding getting to the point.
Hold on, Russ, because you admitted that hey, this is as simple as I can explain it, and that's fine. I'm not trying to downplay that or anything. What I'm trying to do is maybe see if I can explain your point for your argument in a way that Cody and Sean can understand. So that way then you can move on for the rest of your argument. Is that fair?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'll explain. So I'll explain what centers are.
No. There's no. Okay,
SSA,
listen.
And why we should accept the SIA.
Listen. The universe expanded because of a expansion from cosmic microwave background radiation from 13.8 billion years ago. There you go. That's how we expanded. I exist because my parents fucked. Bro. The evidence for that is my DNA connecting to them and the historical action of them fucking. Where is the evidence?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
A 30-point essay is not evidence. Get to the fucking point.
I'm just gonna go straight to the SIA since it seems like we don't want to talk about the other relevant information. But that's fine.
None of it is relevant to a God.
It's extremely relevant.
Anthropic reasoning has nothing to do with God. My existence has nothing to do with it. No, stop. Listen. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Bro,
Slow down. Your argument is absolute horseshit so far.
I haven't even given the argument. How can you say that it's bad?
My existence, for you to link it to a god, would require empirical demonstration showing a causal relation to the mechanism for the cause being God. No argument will fucking do that. Provide me demonstrable data.
Okay, I can give it formally.
Did you just ignore everything I just fucking said?
No.
What did I say, Steelman?
A response to what you said. Yeah, you just want me to empirically demonstrate God.
No. You are using our
Is that what you're
existence
asking?
as evidence for God. I'm saying that is not evidence for God.
I'm sorry,
you would
I'm
need to
sorry.
provide a
Wait, hold
causal
on.
mechanism
Hold
linking
on.
to a
Did you
God.
not say that you want it empirically demonstrated?
I'm going to say it again. Your claim is our existence is an evidence for a
Okay, I
God.
guess
You
not.
need to empirically demonstrate the data that is
Oh, it is
demonstrable.
empirics.
Yeah, because you're talking about human beings, an empirical thing. You need to
Then why'd you say
empirically
that-
demonstrate
Then why'd you
it.
say that my Steelman? Then why'd
Dude, stop. So now you need to
are you
demonstrate. Shh, be a good boy. You need to demonstrate the causal relation between my existence and a God. Go ahead.
Yeah, the causal relationship is just that God massively predicts your existence.
Nice
more
claim.
than
Demonstrate it.
naturalism. Yeah, the demonstration is just done through the acceptance of the SIA. And once we accept the SIA, theism is
Egg into
massively more
question. Can
probable
you
than
demonstrate
atheism.
it? Epistemically
That's question
justify it.
begging? That was question
You're
begging?
not providing any external evidence at
Okay.
all. You're
What
just
are-
saying
okay,
the
since
thing
it's
over and
question
over.
begging, where's the conclusion and the premise?
Brother, okay, it wasn't question begging. My bad. But what you're doing is you
That's fine.
provided a claim and then you provided another claim for this claim. I don't give a fuck about your claims. I care about the justifications behind them, the external evidence justifying them.
Yeah,
Hold on,
you
I cut out towards the
said,
beginning of that. Can you try it again?
your justification was God massively predicts that we would exist. So first of all, there could in theory be a God that wouldn't, but it's irrelevant anyways, because gremlins who have eaten after midnight would massively predict if I have a broken window. If the gremlins actually exist, it would be predictive that because they are very destructive and they break windows and shit. If you ever watch
that's disanalogous.
if you ever watch the movie Gremlins, so something being predictive that hey, it would be the case that or this can explain does not in any way is not in any way evidence that that thing actually exists.
Well, that's talking about parsimony, not anthropic reasoning.
Well, in what way does God predict that we would exist? Because you're basically going to say God would want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, because internal to the God hypothesis is, well, specifically with perfect being theism, is just that we have like Beth 2 infinite observers, which it seems is massively more probable.
We have what?
Beth 2 observers.
What the fuck is a Beth 2 observer?
It's the size of infinity.
Okay, so we have infinity observers. How do you know that?
How do I know? I'm sorry, you're asking me how I know what?
Wait, you said your argument that God explains our existence is that we have Beth 2 observers. What?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, well, the way that I know that is by accepting the SIA, because I know that the SIA is probably true.
Okay, so I don't even know what the fuck the SIA is. People in chat were trying to ask that.
I was trying to explain that earlier.
Okay. So without don't worry about saying the word SIA. What is? Just explain what by accepting. Don't say the SIA by accepting. Blah blah blah. What is it?
I'm glad to explain it. So it's just called the self-indication assumption, and what it wants to say is that theories that predict more possible or more actualized possible observers favor your existence versus ones that don't.
So according to your imagination, in your imagination, it's more likely for your imagination to be true. That's fucking hilarious, bro. That's a nothing burger if I've ever ate one.
Yeah. I don't know where you got imagination. I mean, do you think
it's not imagination? Demonstrate it. Demonstrate its truth right now.
Sorry, my audio keeps cutting out. Was that a no? I'm assuming that was a no.
I have no clue what you said. Demonstrate its truth.
I said
if it's not imagination.
I'm assuming that you'd agree that scientific reasoning and like the scientific.
I'm waiting for your demonstration.
I'm trying to.
I don't have to know anything about anything. You're the one saying that this is true and that my existence is because of a God. Demonstrate it. You're the one that said hypothetical and you're incapable. You're the one that said that you're the one. I'm sorry, I'm talking. I'm sorry, I'm talking. I'm sorry, I'm talking. You said that your hypothetical In your abstract mind, imagination.
No, it's not a hypothetical.
You literally said the words hypothetical. Do you want me to rewind the tape?
Yeah, you can rewind it.
Bet. Be quiet for 5 minutes.
Sure.
Imagination.
No, it's not a hypothetical.
Basically going to say God would want to. Go ahead.
Yeah, because internal to the God hypothesis is...
Holy fucking shit. Hypothesis, not hypothetical. I'm wrong.
Yeah. Valid.
I give you that.
That's fine. Look, I'm just so...
Is your hypothesis demonstrated? You have empirical claim on the table, dude. The empirical... Stop. Pay attention. Did you... Stop.
No, bro.
Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Is your claim yes or no? That's all I need. I don't need an explanation. Just one word. Yes or the word no. Is your claim my existence has anything to do with a god?
Yeah.
That is an empirical, scientific, biological claim. Demonstrate it. Logic is not helping you here. No, you're not. No, you're not. Provide me the fucking case number. I can go look up for the peer-reviewed study where they put something in a fucking lab and found God making human beings.
Wait, what?
This is an empirical, scientific claim.
Peer-reviewed thing. I'm not talking about peer-reviewed studies.
Evidence first. I feel like what might be helpful is an example of what you're talking about, of what you're asking of him.
I know what he's asking.
Participate in a dialogue with me.
I know what he's asking for, but it's not.
I'm not
it's just
talking
analogous
to you,
to what
Russ.
I'm trying
I'm not talking to you, Russ.
Oh my god, I thought you were talking to me.
No, I'm talking to Evidence first. I was asking if he would be okay with going through with a mini dialogue with me, just to give you an example, since you clearly don't understand.
Sure.
Sorry, wait, what don't I
Evidence
understand?
first, ask me why I don't believe that human beings are, ask me why I think that human beings evolved.
That's a good one. Okay, why do you think that human beings evolved?
I believe that human beings evolved based on the evidence. Specifically, there are 3 studies in particular that I find to be very convincing that humans evolved from great ape ancestors. Specifically, the genomic structure and evolution of paralogous regions and fusion sites, specifically 2q13 and 2q14.1, as well as I believe it's 2q13.2 and orangutan chromosome 2, which demonstrate 2 specific fusion sites that can explain why we have 1 less chromosome than other great apes. Additionally, I would say that the study about human endogenous retroviruses and analogous counterparts with other great apes, finding that there are 213 shared human endogenous retroviruses, which are basically fossilized viruses that stay in one place and are unchanging, that are shared between us and other great apes, is very strong evidence to suggest that we stem from a common ancestor between us and a chimpanzee very, very long ago. And I would also say that there is supportive evidence in the fossil record of skulls that share features of human biology. And so I would say that all of this put together, this strongly suggests that humans evolved from great apes. This is evidence that he is asking for. Now, what you are doing is, instead of replying with the evidence, you are saying, I believe that humans evolved because humans evolved.
Oh no, that'd be question begging, which we already agreed that I wasn't doing.
No, we didn't agree to that.
But evidence literally said that it wasn't question begging.
I agreed that my claim on the specific sentence you said was not question begging.
Here, I can give it.
I do agree that you are question begging in totality, because every time I ask for demonstrable evidence, you go back to a syllogism instead of a peer-reviewed study showcasing the empirical claim that a god has anything to do with the formation of a human being. What did I just say?
Hey, so hold on real quick, because Russ, I'm a theist. I believe in a god. When you make an empirical claim, you need to provide empirical evidence.
Well, maybe we should just define what what it means for something to be empirical then.
Observable, demonstratable, and testable, falsifiable.
And usually under the realm of scientific studies and
I don't think your existence would be empirical then.
I'm not demonstrable? Really? That's crazy.
No,
you
it wouldn't
need a CAT scan ASAP.
It wouldn't meet the last criteria because your existence isn't falsifiable.
Yeah, it is. If I didn't exist, you could look up you could look me up. You could see that this person of me does not exist.
No, a priori maybe. I'm saying a posteriori, like right now, that's unfalsifiable. To falsify your existence to say that you are talking.
That's not what unfalsifiable means.
That's not how that works.
Does not. Yeah, unfalsifiable does not mean.
There's some. Yeah.
It does not mean impossible.
I'm sorry. Here, I'll write it down. How are we defining falsifiable?
Jesus Christ. Falsifiability means you can prove something wrong. By that measure, there would everything in science that is an established theory would be quote would be unfalsifiable, which isn't the true. It just means falsifiable in principle. In other words, if we were to examine and inspect the entire Earth and there's no evidence first dude on the Earth, that would falsify his existence on Earth. It just means disprovable in principle. It doesn't mean disprovable actually, because if something is true, it cannot be disproven because it's true, but that doesn't make the claim unfalsifiable. Literally every true thing in science would be unfalsifiable by your standard, which would be ridiculous.
I'm using your definition. I'm using your definition.
This is our
you're being a dishonest You're being a dishonest.
Can I even talk about Can I even speak for 5 seconds?
Filters are annoying.
All it means for something to be falsifiable is that you can prove it wrong or prove there's something wrong.
No,
that's verbatim what you said.
No, that is. No, it means
verbatim. I wrote it down as you were saying it. Verbatim what you said.
Everyone else heard the nuance but you.
Principle. Sean said in principle. You forgot that in your definition.
You just took you just parsed out a couple of words out of context on
what
purpose.
Part of that does that not
you have no
encapsulate exactly what it means for something to be falsifiable? Is that you can prove it wrong?
You're being a dishonest interlocutor, and everyone knows it.
So it's dishonest. It's dishonest to say that what means for something to be falsifiable is that it can be proven wrong. That's dishonest.
In principle, you forgot that as part of the definition, and here is why that is
holy
relevant.
Shit! Finally, it's fine. Okay, I'll include it. Prove something wrong. In principle,
in principle.
What's the relevance?
Holy shit!
The reason why it is relevant,
I'm done with him. He's a dishonest interlocutor.
So,
I guess,
Russ. The reason why that is here's why that is important. Because if I want to prove that, let's say, a particular claim of history, like say,
could I help out here?
Yeah, scientific snitch, please.
So if I wanted to prove my claim wrong that humans probably did not share a common ancestor with, let's say, a great ape like a chimpanzee or a bonobo, then I would find that there are not many human endogenous retroviruses that are shared between us and other great apes, because human endogenous retroviruses are fossilized records of viruses that had infected germline cells and then had been basically trapped inside the genome. And as a result, they stay there, they stay stagnant, they really don't get modified all that much, because if they did get modified and they did start infecting other cells, you would have issues like HIV popping out of literally nowhere. And so, HIV, given that they're not being infected already. So it would be like a spontaneous form of HIV popping out of absolutely nowhere on a constant basis, because we would have all of these germline retroviruses causing havoc in our DNA. And that's not what we see. And so as a result, we see that these endogenous retroviruses are shared between other species that have common ancestry. And so given that I found studies that demonstrate that there are shared endogenous retroviruses between us and great apes, that's evidence for my claim. Now, if I did not find that evidence, and let's say I found the exact opposite, that we share more endogenous retroviruses with, I don't know, a fucking bird, then I would say that, oh yeah, then it's probably more likely that we shared a common ancestor with a bird. But we don't.
Yeah, and so...
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
So just to clarify, just to clarify, because you never admit when you're wrong. I said falsifiable in principle. So in principle, she gave the criteria. We don't find shared endogenous retroviruses between humans and, for example, chimpanzees or what have you, which would falsify, any sort of common ancestry between the two. But the fact that performative laughing isn't helping your case.
I'm laughing because I'm answering this question, but you guys just keep cutting me off.
Yeah. Okay, so that no, because you accused me of like not you said it's unfalsifiable because it's like shown to be true. And do you
That's not
understand
what
the
I
difference
said.
between falsifiable,
Yes, you did.
falsifiable?
No, I
and
didn't. Roll back the
yes, you
tape again. I was
wait,
right the
okay,
first
Because
time.
you
I'll be right a
said
second time.
no. You said that we could not falsify, or that the claim of that
falsifying. So in principle, we could falsify for evidence first existence in principle if
No,
we
I'm not talking about somebody else.
scour the
Your
earth.
existence.
You
No,
said
your
you said you
existence.
can't
yeah,
you said you can't
and you
falsify
said
his
that
existence.
is unfalsifiable because he already exists.
No,
Right.
holy fucking shit. No, look,
Holy
if I
fucking
were to
shit,
say
that's
right now,
exactly what
look,
you
I'll try to
said.
explain it to you since none of you are understanding it. The reason it's unfalsifiable is that it's an inescapable truth. I can't say I don't exist right now and affirm that as a true proposition.
Okay,
The
let's
reason
say
I
we
can't
did
do
it.
that
Hold
is
on,
because to
hold
make
on.
that proposition or to even
You're
make that claim,
Russ,
I have to
you're
exist.
You're going
no,
right back to exactly
Russ,
what I said.
No, Sean,
If you
this
do,
is what Sean, this is what he's doing. He is
I know what
applying the
he's doing.
he's applying the cogito here in a way to try to state that it's unfalsifiable. But the
Right, because it's
cogito
true,
is
it's
what
unfalsifiable.
the
Yeah.
Wait,
No, that's
cogito
not
is what
what it
proves.
means. You do realize something can be true and
Okay.
falsifiable,
All right.
right?
All right.
Like, why is this so hard to understand?
I have a
Like,
simple
it's
question.
the same thing.
Rust,
Look, it's the same thing with the law of non-contradiction.
Rust, I'm moving on from the semantic horse shit. Do you?
that your people
here's
started?
my first question. Do you have any kind of scientific data backing the claim that God made human beings?
The God made. Look, the evidence is just the anthropic reasoning principle.
It's a
That's
simple
yes or no.
question. It's a simple
to.
question. Do
that a yes or
you,
no?
yes or no, have any scientific data demonstrating the claim that God made human beings? Just yes or no.
It would depend on how
we can move on to another one, dude. Just yes or no. Do you or do you not?
It depends on
have
how you cash out scientific.
Why are you so semantical?
The scientific method.
Because words are important.
The scientific method, as practiced by Neil deGrasse Tyson, Dr. Blitz.
That's
you know
what's
funny? You know what's funny? If we had asked him, hey, do you have scientific evidence that the Earth revolves around the sun? He wouldn't be like, well, it depends on
he
how
would say yes
Of course
immediately.
It does.
You wouldn't have said that. You would have just given the fucking evidence,
and
you clown.
If you were honest, we could move on. If you just said no, I
what
don't.
Part about this has been dishonest on my side?
Your incapability of answering yes or no questions to further along an honest conversation. Now I'm going to ask another one.
This hasn't been an honest conversation because you all keep interrupting.
Stop.
I can't progress the dialogue.
If someone says 2 + 2 = 7, you bet your ass I'm cutting them the fuck off. Okay.
What part of
so
that?
You do not. I'm going to assume
egregious?
that you do not have scientific data to back the empirical claim that
never
God
said
created human beings. Is this true or not?
I'm just going to say the same thing as before. It depends on how you cash out the word scientific.
Here, let's go to Oxford Dictionary. Scientific method. Systematic, evidence-based process used to explore observations, formulate hypotheses, and test them through experimentation to acquire reliable knowledge about the natural world. The scientific method is an empirical approach to acquire knowledge, emphasizing careful observation, skepticism, and experimental validation. Do you have
anything?
You
said this is Oxford?
Actually, that one's not Oxford. Where did Oxford go?
Could I?
I'll pull up the Oxford one.
Could I ask a question to guest?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Could you please tell me how to run an experiment?
How to run an experiment, like a scientific one? No, I'm not a scientist. Like an actual academic one that they would do in a lab? No.
I'm asking you. Okay.
Oh my god.
What is the relevance and the significance of running an experiment to test your claim? Why is it important?
Why is it important to run experiments? I'm assuming to test if it's true or false.
There we fucking go. Okay, so if we're trying to test something, if it's true or false, I think it's really important to run an experiment. So if you don't have scientific evidence for your claim, then you can't really test if it's true or false. Now, I just want to also add on.
Not true.
Now, I just wanted to aad on that when you were talking earlier that like your evidence for God is like yourself, you realize that makes literally no sense because you existing.
Of course, it makes no sense because you don't let me explicate.
Sir. I have been very
no
quiet
shit doesn't
and
make
patient.
sense.
I've been quiet and patient this entire time, and so if you say that the evidence for somebody else's existence is your existence, that literally
That's not what
does
I
not
said.
track. My existence
That's
is not
that's
evidence
not even what
for
I said.
the existence of evidence first.
Good, yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that your evidence confirms
Okay,
his.
so then why did you keep saying that humans are evidence for the existence of God?
No, I'm saying, it's like we just don't remember anything. At the very beginning of the conversation, I said the piece of evidence is your existence. So when I just relativize that to myself, it's my existence.
Did I
So
not
it's
just
how
say
we should
that?
reason about our existences, our individual existences, not us
I
as a
literally
whole.
just said that. I literally
No,
said
that's not
that
what you
saying
said.
that
That
my
is what she
existence
said.
or
No,
your
it's not. I can
existence,
explain why it's not.
that is literally what I just said.
Because what I'm not saying is that every single human's existence
Holy blunder. You are
conglomerated
failing to
means
track
all
every
of us
single thing I've
together.
said.
I'm failing to track? Okay, just repeat back my argument then.
Yes, you're failing to track because I quite literally
Just repeat
said
back my
that
argument
saying that
then.
somebody else's existence
Just repeat back
is
my argument
evidence of
then.
your existence.
Just repeat
is
back. Dude, even the people in the
completely
comments are saying you're
false.
not
You can't
tracking.
say
Just
that.
repeat back my argument then.
I
Was
literally
in the
repeated your
comments
argument. Then you said
supporting
I
you,
don't even
Rust,
know
is
these
not
people.
evidence of you being right.
Yeah.
I literally repeated your argument, and then you
No,
repeated
you
what I
haven't.
said and said
What's my
that
argument?
was not your argument.
What's my argument?
Holy fucking shit.
Exactly. You can't repeat it. None of you can, because none of you
Yes,
have actually
I
been trying
did.
to understand the argument. Then repeat it, the argument. Repeat
Rust,
the anthropic argument for me then.
No, Rust.
You said
As
that
an
somebody
as an
else's
orthodox
existence. You
Rust,
said that
as an
that your existence or my existence or somebody else's existence is evidence of
heard
a
it.
different person
Everyone
or
heard it,
being's
but
existence.
you're the
That is
common
quite literally
denominator.
what you said.
Yeah, individualized existence is indexed to yourself, not indexed to
Oh
others.
my fucking god, bro.
Rust.
What's your evidence for God?
No.
How many fucking times are you going to ask this and then not let me explicate?
No, hold on. Rust, you are doing a poor showing of orthodoxy right now.
Bro, I
No.
swear if a Catholic starts virtue signaling to me, bro, don't even start, bro.
No.
Don't even start with me, bro.
No.
Like for real, don't even start with me about Catholicism and Orthodoxy, bro. Look, I can just give the argument formally. It's just if the SIA is true, theism is more probable. SIA is true, theism is more probable.
Because here's the thing,
Which
Rust,
premise do you want me to substantiate?
Here's the thing, Rust. Correct me if I'm wrong. Orthodoxy value the mystery of God, and they hate the Thomistic analytical approach to the dogmas of the faith. Correct?
No, they don't hate analyticism.
I said the Thomistic analytical approach to the faith. Did you not hear what I said?
Oh, Thomistic analyticism. I mean, I don't think. Well, I don't know what you mean by Thomistic and like analyticism. But analyticism simpliciter, just like like the study of like analytic philosophy. No, of course we don't hate that.
But that's not what I said, and you denied that, and I was saying, hey, so you guys don't like the Thomistic analytic.
I'll answer it more directly. No, we don't like Thomistic philosophy or Thomistic analyticism.
Okay, so then why are you up here amongst a group of people trying to LARP Thomistic analytical philosophy for God when that's what they're asking for? Yeah, so like...
I'm sorry, you're saying that I'm LARPing Thomistic what about anything that I've said has been Thomistic?
Because here's the thing.
What?
I presented my because I've presented my argument using Thomistic analytical philosophy to Cody before. I don't believe the other guests have heard it, but Cody appreciated it, and because it was in language that he understood. And that's the language that he's looking.
Hold on. No, because you said you're saying that I'm using Thomistic analyticism, correct?
No, I said you're LARPing it.
Oh, I'm LARP. What? Okay, so say that I'm LARPing it is just say that at some point I've used Thomistic analyticism. When have I done that?
No, to LARP means that you are trying to play in that field without actually being in that field.
What part of this has been involved with Thomisticism at all?
That is exactly
nothing I've said has been Thomistic.
But that is the language that host is asking you to explain it in, and you are refusing to play in that playground.
He wants to. Okay, then that's okay. Well, then okay. Just be clear. Then what you first said isn't true because I haven't been trying to explain it like that. And also,
I didn't say that you had been. I said you've been LARPing, and by LARPing,
Yeah,
I mean.
What the fuck do you think? What the fuck?
Okay,
Look,
so
I thought we could just define words as whatever we wanted.
let's go back to the initial.
That's not what that means.
So
That'd
is
be really
there
dumb.
any observable evidence that something made us like that?
Yeah, I've been trying to get there for the past like 40 fucking minutes.
Observable. It doesn't require a syllogism. It requires lab testing to some degree.
Why would I not include a syllogism? Like I don't know why
syllogisms,
you guys try to be, like, so, like, low
correct me if I'm
intellectualism.
wrong, but each premise in a syllogism requires external justification.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by external.
If it is a sound, you don't know what external means?
Because Rust, you made
I said it depends on how. Look, dude, you considering
do
that
you,
don't
yes or no,
syllogisms,
have observable evidence that you can tell us that we can go look up right now to see if what you're saying is true or not?
This is what I was getting at, Russ. This is what Cody is asking for. Cody is asking for a very specific piece of evidence that, according to his framework of language that you were engaging in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, host. Are you asking me to, under an atheistic epistemological framework, give you evidence for God?
What is an atheistic epistemic framework?
Just whatever your epistemics are. Are you asking me to give you evidence through that?
He's asking, he's asking Cody, do you want an
that didn't even make
proof
sense.
of God under a framework of evidence?
Nope,
that
I
you
want him
accept?
to be honest. Do you, yes or no, have observable evidence?
That didn't answer the question.
You've never answered one of mine. Do you, yes or no, have observable
evidence? Tried to give you answer.
Do you, yes or no, have observable evidence that people were made by God? Yes or no? You're allowed to unmute and respond with a yes or no.
Yeah, the evidence is my existence. Now, can I explicate?
Begging the question, wonderful. Do you have observable
Jesus
evidence?
Christ, he denied saying that.
Right? Do you have observable evidence?
That's not what I denied saying.
He denied fucking saying that repeatedly earlier.
Do you want to roll back the tape again?
When Scientific Snitch accused you of saying our existence is itself.
Did I just say
evidence that God exists?
See, the problem with Rust is he can't get off of his script. So I'm gonna ask again, Rust. Do you have be a good boy? Do you have observable evidence I can look at to see God creating people?
Yes, you're looking at him.
Do you have observable evidence I can look at that demonstrates the causal relation between a God making a person?
Yes, you're looking at him.
Do you have any observable evidence that shows a demonstration for the causal relation between a God making a person?
Same answer as before.
So do you have any observable evidence that demonstrates the causal relation between a God making a person?
Show the causal relation, you potato.
Yeah, you're completely not, you're not listening at all. I said causal relation between A and B. So I'm going to ask again.
Through anthropic reasoning, I am.
It's also weird to say, like, he says he personally, him is evidence that God exists, but not we, us, like all of our existence. So so you personally are evidence of God's existence. That's what you claimed, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Am I evidence that God exists? Yes or no?
Internalized to your state of affairs, of course, but not in a conglomeration sense.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy.
Do you know what that means?
We're not doing the rhetoric games.
Yeah.
Rust, let's try this another way. What part of your existence demonstrates a God causing you to exist?
A part of my existence? I don't know what you mean by part of my
we don't know
existence.
what you mean by your existence.
Psychology?
We don't know what you mean by you existing as evidence of you existing because of a God.
Well,
The begging the question. So you've shown one fallacy repeatedly is begging the question. Because I asked you, do you have evidence for the claim of your existence having anything to do with a God? And your begging the question response was, yeah, my existence, which is quite literally by definition begging the question. So I'm going to ask you again, what about your existence demonstrates a causal relation between you and a god?
Wait, what's the question, Beg?
Here, I'm going to ask you this again since you're incapable of
running
providing
away.
a response. Stop running, stop pivoting, stop gaslighting. So, what part of your existence demonstrates a causal relation between you and a god?
The totality?
What part of your existence demonstrates a causal relation
I just answered
that a god caused the effect of your existence?
Can you stop running?
Demonstrate there's a
Stop
causal
running.
Just engage
relation.
with the argument.
Demonstrate there's a causal relation between God and
That's what I've been
your
trying to
existence.
do for the past hour, you idiot.
Then do it.
You don't let me do it every single time I try to get down to it.
He kept asking you, what is the causal relation? Meaning, demonstrate the causal relation. Show that the causal relationship exists. And you keep saying, my existence. You've memorized a bunch of philosophical jargon. And you don't
I
even
literally tried
understand
to. I was being charitable. I was trying to explain it to you at the very beginning, but you wouldn't let me. That's because you guys hear like complex arguments and you just get scared. I get it. It's hard because you guys aren't learned. You guys don't read.
for the same fucking thing I asked for.
I can still try to explain it to you guys. But I can't explain it to you if you keep interrupting me.
Talking over me, please. Yeah, he asked for the same thing I asked. He asked for the same thing I asked for, and you kept saying my existence. So we are asking for evidence that God explains your existence, because that's just a claim.
Thank you.
What is the evidence that God?
It's called, yes.
Let him finish his fucking question.
Are you done?
Sean, were you done?
All right. I'm done now. Just go ahead.
Yes, the evidence is called the SIA. Now, you want me to explain that to you? Because I know you guys tried to avoid it.
Go for it.
Okay. I already explained it once. I'll explain it again. Look, I'll even put it in like the most like babyish terms possible, since this is what a cap had to do. Because you guys don't actually want to engage in the arguments.
Oh, you're a KG friend.
No, those guys suck.
Same as you. Continue.
Cool. Look, in the most baby terms possible, if
we already know you're putting it in layman's, you don't have to stick with the same rhetoric of you're a baby, you're a baby, you're a baby over and over. We already granted treat us like a baby. Stop saying it over and over and provide the argument.
Actually, guys,
shut the fuck up. Stop saying it over and over just for getting your clip. Just provide just provide the argument.
Clipping. Dude, this is too like inconsequential for me to clip. This isn't even substantive. Look,
I swear to
if
God,
a worldview predicts your existence more than another, we should take that worldview. It's that simple.
Doesn't make it true.
God. I swear to God, if your explanation for God, like I swear to God, if you provide evidence, if you say that your evidence for that causal relationship is a person, I am going to flip the fuck out.
Oh, wow.
Can I address what he said? If your worldview predicts your existence more than another, then you should adopt that worldview, right?
Yeah, very, very roughly speaking, because I have to like strike out like all the principles of the SIA.
Enough with the fucking enough with the meta. Okay, so
that's not
meta. If there's damage and destruction, like all about. And my worldview is that gremlins exist and are all about. I
already told you why this is disanalogous.
Does that explain? Does that worldview explain the damage and destruction?
I already explained this earlier. That's talking about.
I'm sorry. Is that a yes? Is that a yes or no? Is that a yes or no?
It's not a yes or no. It's whether or not the question is analysis.
It's absolutely a yes or no.
No, of course it's not.
Okay,
because the question isn't analogous.
So that's just an excuse not to answer the question. That's not answering the question.
Do you think that
yes
if I
or
asked,
no?
hold on, I just want to be clear. Pointing out that something's disanalogous is disingenuous? Or that's not a proper.
By the way,
it's not answering. It's answering the question.
In disanalogous hypotheticals.
No, you can say no because this is not analogous to my position, and then give a reason why. Just saying.
Well, that wouldn't be a reason. It would be no either. That wouldn't even be a reason to say no.
I just wanted to point out that you're talking about. You want to find a worldview that can predict your existence, right? Yeah, science does that very well. In fact, I can predict every atom of your fucking being because of science.
Not as well as theism. I can tell you why. Because even the strongest
really?
forms
So how do you
of
predict,
I can explain it.
So how do you predict
I can
human
explain
endogenous retroviruses?
Yeah, I can explain it.
How do you predict human endogenous retroviruses?
Because even the strongest here, I'm going to explain.
How do you predict human endogenous retroviruses?
Because the strongest versions of atheism only yield
before you answer
a
this,
specific question. You
before
dishonest.
you,
Yeah.
before
She
you,
asked
before
me.
you
She asked me why
continue-
theism.
No, I did
predicts
not.
more than atheism. That's
No,
literally
she
what
didn't.
you're
Theism
asking.
did not
what
leave
she-
my
no.
lips.
Okay, then just roll back the tape and we'll see if that's what she asked in essence.
The word theism did not leave my fucking lips. Human endogenous retroviruses did. Now, what I was going to ask you is
Holy
before
fucking
you
shit.
answer me and tell me how your theistic view predicts human endogenous retroviruses,
Oh, so that's
wanna
exactly what I
know-
said, you
wait
dumbass.
a second.
Holy
wait
shit.
a second. Don't call me a dumbass.
So that is what I said.
Wait a second.
Well, you
no,
are
I
acting
did
like
not
a
say
dumbass.
that. I did not say that. If you would
But that's
listen for
literally
a
what you
second and
said.
stop
And then you said
blabbering
that's
your
not what I
mouth,
said.
you would actually hear what I asked you.
Well, it's like the guy at the bottom
First,
said,
I
poisoning the
asked
well.
you. First, I asked you, how does your worldview predict human endogenous retroviruses? And then I said, before you answer me with this, I want to know, do you even understand what a human endogenous retrovirus is? Because you can't claim that something is predictive of human endogenous retroviruses if you don't even know what they are.
Wait, just to be clear, that's not the question that I'm answering. The question that I'm answering is
I
whether or not
asked you-
That's the
it's
one
more
she
likely that I
asked.
exist.
That's the one I
Wait,
asked.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
another
sorry.
question
Let's
he's
just
dodging.
re-roll. Here,
Another
no.
question
Here, it's
he's
fine.
dodging.
No, we can just see if that was the question. Host, can you just roll back the clip then?
Yeah, sure.
What am I rolling it back to?
Roll it back to when
To
I
see
said,
exactly
can
what
I
the
ask you a
question
question?
was.
Yeah, could I ask you a question? And then I said,
How about we just save time and just ask it again with everyone listening?
No. I want to see.
I don't give
a
a flying fuck. She's going to tell you what the question was, and if it doesn't matter,
But if it's not the same, as the initial one, then she's moving away from that question.
What's the scientific snitch? Please ask your question without him interrupting the question.
by the way,
Why is he trying to save her?
Jesus Christ.
When I first started speaking, everybody was talking, so I went quiet. I walked into the room, I looked at there was some sugar-free maple syrup right next to my television. I looked over at it, I took a side because everybody was talking, and I said, all right, here, I just wanted to ask one simple question. You want your worldview to predict your existence, right? And then I said, does your worldview predict human endogenous retroviruses?
But
Because
that's not what you
science
asked me the
predicts
first
pretty much
time.
every atom of it.
That's not what you asked me the first time.
Yes,
Now you're
that
lying.
is. Yes,
No, it
that
isn't.
is.
Roll back the tape. Roll back the fucking tape
fucking
again. I'll be
God.
right for a third time today on the recording.
Go right ahead. When I first started speaking.
It's a bunch of philosophical jargon, and you don't.
I
even
literally tried to.
understand.
I was. You just get scared.
He
But I
asked
can't
for the
explain.
past. You kept. What is?
Explain it.
Oh,
again.
it was right after.
That's pretty
It was right
perfect.
after the baby cry. It
We are
was
asking and
like
for the same
15
thing,
seconds after
my
the baby cry.
existence. So we are asking for evidence that God explains your existence, because that's just a claim.
Oh.
What is
Holy
the
fucking
evidence
shit! It's
that
almost like that's what
God-
I'm saying that I need to be asked
Let
and
him
answered.
finish.
Can somebody
He's
mute him
fucking-
while it's going on?
I need you. If you guys both comment in chat, I can mod you.
Sure thing.
Why are we dude, keep playing the clip. What are we doing? So that was the first person who asked me that question, so I was answering that question. So that was really stupid.
Did that mod? Oh, there it is.
Okay, so that's the fourth time that I'm running the recording. Can we get to the fifth one, please?
Question.
Are you done?
Sean, were you done?
All right. I'm done now. Just go ahead.
Yes, the evidence is called the SIA. It's way after this, by the way.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah. As soon as possible, since this is what a cap had to do. These guys don't want.
Same as you.
Yeah, it's after all this.
If go over and over and just
That's
provide
what
the.
he asked,
Just
isn't even substantive. Look,
I swear to
if
God.
a worldview predicts your existence more than another, we should take that worldview. It's that
Nope.
simple.
Doesn't
my
make it
fucking
true.
God. I swear
Okay,
to
what
God,
part of
if
that? It's a
your
principle.
explanation for God, like all
It was a little
evidence
after
for that
this.
causal relationship.
Can I
But if I could
address what he?
explain
Can I
things, it'd
address?
be okay.
Can I address what he said? Right.
Yeah, very, very.
Enough with the meta. Okay. So
That's not meta.
Poisoning the well.
if
I feel like it's coming up.
there's
coming
damage
up.
and destruction, like all about, and my worldview is that gremlins exist and are all
I already
about.
told you why this is disanalogous.
Does that explain? Does that worldview explain the damage and destruction?
I already explained this earlier. That's talking about.
I'm sorry. Is that
not
yes? It's absolute.
Excuse me.
It's absolutely a yes or no.
Is it the case that? Not.
Okay, so question. That's not answering the question.
Dude, yes or no? Hold on, I just want to. That's not a proper.
By the way,
it's not answering. It's answering the question.
You can say no because this is not analogous to my.
By the way, I just wanted to point out that you're talking about you want to find a worldview that can predict your existence, right? Yeah, science does that very well. In fact, I can predict every atom of your being because of science.
No, not as well as theism. I can tell you why. Because even the strongest forms
so how do you predict,
I can explain it.
So how do you predict human adaptive retroviruses?
Yeah, I can explain.
There we fucking go. See,
I was talking about the first question. Just to be clear, I was talking about the first claim where you said science predicts it better. Then I was addressing that.
That wasn't my question.
Russ, you claimed
that was not my question.
Russ, you claimed. No, Russ, you claimed.
Wait, hold on. Just to be clear.
No.
I'll explain it. Catholic,
Russ,
I'll fess up. It wasn't a question, but that's what I was addressing because that was a statement that was made that I disagreed with.
No,
it's essentially just question begging against the opposition.
Russ.
So yeah, you're right. It wasn't a question, but the question isn't what I was addressing.
Rust. You said my question included the word theism. If you want to play that clip a little bit longer, you'll actually say
yes, you did. That was the whole reason for it. That was the whole reason.
So fucking dishonest.
If you want to play that part, it's actually quite fun.
What I was addressing is whether or not, specifically, scientific atheism is going to predict more observers than theism. That's what I was addressing because that's what you said. And that's the statement that you made. So that's what I was addressing. No, she didn't say that?
No, she did not. As she said, the word theism never. The words theism never came out of her mouth.
That's not what I'm disputing.
Yeah, that was the whole reason for the playback. Because she said.
Do you think I rolled that back to talk about theism? No, that's not why I rolled that back.
Go right ahead and play the clip. Play the clip.
How about you answer the question?
Because the statement that I was investigating. Because that's totally fucking irrelevant to the question begging made against my position.
Another excuse not to answer another question.
Bro,
I mean, just admit when you make an excuse, when you make an excuse not to answer a question, you acknowledge that that's not answering the question, right?
Because the question's fucking irrelevant.
Okay, well then that's a yes, right? That's another question you won't fucking answer. When you make an excuse not to answer the question, that's not. That's responding to the question, not answering the question. You fuck. If you say that's disanalogous, that's saying therefore I'm not going to answer
questions. You do realize that if you ask, is it a yes or no that you went to the store today? And then I say I went to the store. Does that answer your question? You fucking dumbass. Can we continue
playing that clip because I'd like to get it to the point where he says that my question included the word theism.
Yeah.
Disputing. Holy shit.
How do you predict human endowed?
Anything but the substance, bro.
Russ, shut up, dude.
Versions of atheism only
Wait a second. Wait, before you.
Okay, let me know. Here, I'm just gonna go. Look, I'm just gonna go back on mute. When you guys are done with the whole not addressing the substance and actually want to engage with the arguments, you let me know.
You're such a douchebag, dude. Holy shit.
She asked me why theism.
No, I did not.
More than atheism.
See, right there. She asked me why theism. I never said that.
Called out.
Okay, are we going back to the substance now?
So, are you going to reply to my actual question instead of saying she asked why theism? Because I never asked why theism. I don't give a fuck about why theism. I care about human adoption
you made against my. Look, I'm just going to address the question that you made against my position.
No, I want to go back to the question.
I know you want to run away from the substance because you're a dumbass and don't actually.
No, I want to go back to the question.
That's fine. Look,
calling me a dumbass make you feel better, but it doesn't make you look any smarter.
Well,
so can we go back to the question?
I don't need to look any smarter. Your idiocy is already demonstrating my intellectualism. It's so simple.
This is sounding a lot like an ad hom.
You're
so can we go back to the actual
question? It's an ad hom, but you guys want to engage with the argument? Are you fucking serious?
I'm putting my chat in the chat.
I just want to go back to the question.
I want to get to the argument that you question begged against.
I didn't question beg against anything.
Yes, you did. You literally did by saying that scientists or your scientific theory can perfectly predict or explain why it's going to have more.
No, I did not say that. I said that science can predict atoms of your body. No, I said that science can predict the atoms
so
of
then
your
that has
body.
no fucking relevance to what I was talking about. Thank you. Jesus
So the
Christ, this is
molecules
like
of
the
your
actual
body.
dumbest thing.
So the molecules of your body, the molecules that make up your body. Yeah, biology can predict that based off of evolution.
Do you think that's what my argument is trying to explain?
That's what I said.
That's not what I asked you.
I
Do you
don't
think
give
that's
a
what my
fuck
argument?
about what you ask me. I care about
Then
my
stop
question.
fucking
There you are,
talking
Sean.
to me if you're
Thank
not
you.
actually going to be engaging with my argument. Holy shit.
Answer my question.
This is
first,
embarrassing.
bro.
Your argument is irrelevant. It's a non sequitur.
I asked you to answer my question.
Do you know
at the
what that
very
is?
beginning.
Do you know what non sequitur is?
I don't care about your argument. I care about
You
answering
don't.
the
Okay,
question.
you don't care. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I don't need to speak to you anymore since you don't care about the argument.
Because
does anyone
you made
else
an
want to
argument.
actually engage with the
you
argument?
made an argument. I tried to push back on it by asking a question, and you refused to answer it.
The argument is, oh my god, you literally just admitted it has no relevance. Why am I? Oh wait, I said I was not going to speak to you. It's fine. Okay, does anyone else on the panel, the three other atheists, or well, the Catholic LARPing is an atheist? Any of you guys want to
Test
engage
now,
with the
Sean.
argument?
Yeah, I tested it. It works. Thank you.
Holy moly.
I'm at the point
Just trying
where
to ask
it
a
just sounds like a
question.
baby crying. Like he runs and
Yeah,
runs and runs and
literally.
runs.
All right. So scientific. Do you want to
Okay,
ask
are
your
we
question?
engaging in the argument?
Yeah. So scientific. Ask your question one more time.
Yeah, sure.
Dude, yes or fucking no.
How does your theistic view predict human endogenous retroviruses? And before you answer with your actual answer, I would like you to explain what a human endogenous retrovirus is.
It's a
so
non
we can
sequitur.
clarify that you know what it is.
I'm not answering. It's a non sequitur to the argument.
Well, you said that God predicts your existence. Okay, your existence includes human endogenous retroviruses.
Doesn't
so how does
have
your
to.
God predict human endogenous retroviruses? It's
Doesn't
very
have
linear.
to.
If it doesn't predict
Your body
that,
includes it.
if it
Because I
doesn't
could
predict
be,
that,
because I could be a
Russ.
non-human and God still exists. That's why it's a
No,
non
Russ.
sequitur.
No, Rust. So this is the type of Phil Bro BS that annoys the crap out of me.
What?
Listen, because you're trying to argue for that the God you believe in is true, correct?
I just want to be clear. If you ask me
What a
my favorite
dodge.
flavor of
Holy
cake
shit,
is,
he just
do think
asked you a
that's fucking
question.
relevant to the argument?
Okay.
Dodge.
So
Are you trying to
Go ahead.
trying to argue that the God that the Orthodox Church believes in is true? Is that the God you're arguing for right now?
Well, I'm arguing for perfect being theism, if you remember what I originally said. But I don't think I can trust a single soul to save anything in terms of what I said.
Hold on. Rust. Is that the same God the Orthodox Church believes in, yes or no?
Oh, is the Orthodox God a perfect being? Yeah.
Okay, so then, did the God of Orthodoxy create you, or the self, or however you want to define this evidence for God that you are presenting? Did this being create you as a body and soul that is a human being with biochemistry?
Yeah, that's how I am right now.
Okay, then it's relevant because
it's not.
Because in order for your worldview to be able to explain, like if there is a fact of reality that your worldview does not explain, yet another worldview does explain that fact of reality, then by your very own standards, you have to accept the other worldview.
Okay, can I talk now?
Yeah, now that there's not sound coming out of his mouth, you can talk.
Okay, look, yeah, the reason that it's irrelevant for me being a human is that I could be an alien and this argument still go through.
Okay, so again,
it doesn't. No.
That's why it's a non sequitur.
No. The reason why it's relevant is because you are a human, and humans have human endogenous retroviruses.
Holy fucking shit! Did you listen?
So the reason why it's relevant for the third fucking time is that you are a human. Your human body contains human endogenous retroviruses. And so me asking you, how does your theism predict human endogenous retroviruses is relevant because you are human. If you are an alien, then I would ask you, how does your God predict alien endogenous retroviruses? Oh, fucking K?
And here's the other thing is that
holy fucking shit.
this is the reason why it's annoying me, Rust, is because you are playing this. You are playing this dishonest. You are playing this dishonest game of only trying to care about scoring points. As an Orthodox believer, you are bound by the same command of preach the gospel to all nations and to bring others to Christ. How is what you are doing right now bringing others to Christ right now? Answer me that right now.
And now he's fucking virtue signaling. Bro, I actually can't make this shit up. Look. Hold on. Before I respond to you. I want to address scientists. I want to address scientific.
I am doing exactly what Christ has commanded of if I see my brother
you don't know what
sinning.
Christ commanded, bro. Stop it. Look, can I engage with what scientific said or no?
Because, you already had been yelling and screaming in between the mutes that...
No, so I can't or I can?
You were already saying that it's irrelevant, that you weren't going to respond to it, so I don't know why now you're saying, oh, please, can I respond to it?
Because I'm going to explain why it's irrelevant again for the 5th fucking time.
That's not responding to it. That's not responding to it then.
Yes,
explaining why something is irrelevant is just an excuse to not respond. Now,
do you think that if I ask you,
do you think that
if you ask me the flavor, like if my favorite flavor of fucking cake right now, that it's relevant? Of course not.
Russ.
The same way that talking about the genetic makeup of a human.
He needs to respond
irrelevant.
to Snitch. He is avoiding her like the fucking plague. So we need to keep his
He
ass
directly
on
addressed-
track.
No more excuses. If you think it's irrelevant, so fucking what? Hey,
what do you mean, so what?
Hey, evidence first. Is 2 + 2 4?
What's your favorite flavor of cake? Sean,
According to him, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So
what's your flavor of cake?
But at least he answered. So, my favorite flavor of cake is chocolate. Is chocolate.
How do you like your martini?
So, yeah. So I showed you that I could answer a question, even if I think shaken, not stirred.
How do you like your martinis?
Shaken, not stirred. All right. How about this? When you're ready to actually engage,
thank you for
I don't care if you don't think the question is relevant. You don't get to make that decision because you are a biased interlocutor. You could just use that. You can just use that as an excuse to avoid questions you don't like. Oh, it's irrelevant because this and that. It does. If it's irrelevant, it doesn't fucking hurt you to answer the fucking question. Just like if I ask,
yes, it does.
If I ask evidence first, is 2 + 2 4? He could say yes.
This was never claimed to be a linear debate.
I can make this extremely linear. You claimed earlier that your existence is evidence for your God. And then, after that, I made it very clear that you are human. And I think we all can agree you are human, unless you're not. If you're not human, please show me a karyotype and also some genetic testing so I can just verify that you're not human. I'd love to see that evidence because it'd be very interesting. You'd be the first alien on planet Earth that we know of. So please provide me with the evidence that you're not human.
I feel like an alien amongst you guys.
But if you are human and your existence indeed is evidence of God, then your God must be able to predict human endogenous retroviruses existing in your fucking human genome. So please give me evidence for how your God predicts human endogenous retroviruses. If you can't give me that evidence, then drop.
Yeah, maybe it would be more prudent to drop. I'm going to address this for a 6th time. Look, the question is irrelevant. I've already explained it. If you don't want to engage with the argument, then you can just drop me. But this has been a really pathetic
Did you say or did you not say that your existence is evidence of God?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are you human?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how does your fucking God predict the human endogenous retroviruses sitting in your goddamn genome? Yes, it does. You said that your existence is evidence of God.
You're a STEM major and you're this stupid, bro? Are you serious?
Retroviruses would have to provide that evidence. There would have to be some sort of relationship between those two.
Are you actually a STEM major? Just curious.
Are you actually in philosophy?
No, I don't go to school for this.
Clearly not.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you suggesting that you have more philosophical knowledge than me?
I clearly have more actual biological knowledge since you don't even know that.
I have more philosophical knowledge than you because I did go to school for it.
I'm sorry. Well, that doesn't show at all. I'm sorry to say that. Look.
How would you know if you haven't done it? Because how would you know that I have less philosophical knowledge than you if you've never gone to school and know what proper philosophy looks like?
Through an inductive case?
Really? So what other philosophers have you met?
Have I met? I haven't met any philosophers face to face.
I didn't ask face to face.
What the fuck do you think it means to meet somebody?
You can meet someone over video. You can meet someone through a book.
Okay, well, I take meetings. I take meetings to be physical, but that's fine. I mean, I've spoken.
You haven't
yeah,
taken anything else to be physical this whole conversation, so I wonder why that one.
Is my I guess I'm not a physicalist about existence, so that's fine.
I mean, this derailed from her question.
Sorry.
Well, her question is a derail from the actual argument. So.
No, it's not.
Why don't you just admit it doesn't? Just admit it doesn't, and then she can have a follow-up. And if it's irrelevant, then she won't have the sufficient follow-up.
I don't need to admit anything. All I need to say is it's irrelevant because it's irrelevant.
Answer the question.
I've already answered this.
Rust, are you human?
Asked and answered.
Rust, are you human?
Asked and answered.
Rust, are you human?
Asked. Oh yeah, I can just do that over and over again. Asked and answered.
I'm literally fucking asking you a question. Are you human?
And I've already answered it 3 fucking times.
Then say it again.
More than 3 times.
Human?
No,
you're
I'm
not
done
human.
Myself
okay,
to
so
idiots.
give me some fucking genetics. Okay, non-human.
Do you think I said no?
Do
Do you think my no there was in regards to the fucking human? You idiot. No,
because
it was,
I've been
it was in
asking you
response
for the
to you
past
asked me
3
to
minutes.
repeat myself. That's why I'm not repeating myself. That's what the no was for. Holy shit.
Okay, are you human?
Asked and answered.
Are you human?
I've already answered this.
I don't care. Just answer it again. Are you human?
No. Here, I want you. If you want to know my answers, then you can just roll it back.
So you're not human?
He answered no. He answered no. You said, "Are you human?" He said no. So I guess now
I'm just saying the
he's
same
not
thing to
human
you,
now.
Sean. I guess I'm not. Yeah, sure. I'm not a human, bro. Yeah, I'm an alien. Now what?
W concession.
W concession.
I'm an alien. Now what?
All right. So then, what is evidence of like alien and
Wait, actually, no. It's really funny.
Yourself?
I mean, yeah. Look, again, even that question's irrelevant. Because the reason it's irrelevant is that
because
I could
endogenous
be an alien, I could be a
retroviruses,
human, I could be a type 2
because
alien,
based off
and it
of
wouldn't
what we understand
matter.
of biology, endogenous retroviruses are something that are pretty innate to at least Earth biology, and most likely to other biology on other planets, given that life started with, let's say, the same general mechanism.
And that if aliens existed that have the same like intelligent aliens that have the same like
no, but there
biological
would be
mechanisms
evidence
that we do.
There would be similar. There is evidence that there's like similar biological homology. So, for example, on the asteroid Ryugu, there's the same exact citric acid cycle intermediates found on that asteroid, which did not come from Earth. So, as a result, it would be evidence that if life were to exist and that life happened to die on that rock, and that rock happened to come off of that planet and then come crash landing here as Ryugu, it's likely that life started in a very similar way, given that the metabolic cycles that are a part of that life are very similar to those found on Earth. So that's the reason why I'm going down that route. But as far as like,
I actually have to go pick something up. I have to go.
Run, boy, run.
Yes, I'm running to go get
W concession. Concession. So we'll move on to Hegel fan. Have you guys ever dealt with Hegel fan? I feel like Sean, you might have.
Hang on, let me look. I'm not sure. I'm terrible with screen names. It's possible, but I cannot tell you with certainty.
It's Phil, bro. But
and he was clipping because he just said in the chat, "Mikey, send me that clip."
Yeah, he's just a liar.
So whatever. Funny.
Just a dishonest liar. I really want to hear a lot more points from Snitch actually get out there and fucking herd.
Yo, what's good? How are we doing?
You're over the age of 18. Which god do you believe in?
I'm agnostic. I just think the point you made earlier was sort of confused. Yeah. So I think just pointing out that there's some. I mean, here's maybe an analogy for what it seemed like was happening, right? So imagine you're giving the problem of evil, like an evidential problem of evil, and then somebody just keeps insisting that no, we need to talk about fine tuning because actually, the existence of conscious creatures is evidence for God, right? The point is just that you're just not really engaging with the argument in the same way that like pointing out that there's this feature of human existence that might not be like explicitly expected on theism isn't really engaging with the argument that human existence implicator is not.
That's critiquing the claim, though.
That's the point of talking about it.
So Hegel, the thing that was going on is he stated that he was an Orthodox believer, and there are certain things that as an Orthodox you have to believe. One of those is being created, as a human. Now, could that have looked a little bit differently? Maybe. I don't know exactly on the specifics of it. But the fact of the matter is that it is the case that God created Adam and Eve in this particular way, and we have this particular genome and so on and so forth within the Orthodox tradition. And so in order for his claim that his worldview is more parsimonious or has greater explanatory power than an atheist worldview, would have to account for what Scientific Snitch was pointing out, because if we're talking about a worldview having greater explanatory power, it needs to include the entire worldview. If all it is just, oh, this worldview can account for consciousness, okay, well, this worldview can account for consciousness and the physical body. Well, I'm going to take the one that has consciousness and physical body because
Sure,
that's actually.
But that's just to not really engage with the argument, right? Because my understanding of the argument was that here's this feature of the world, like the existence of conscious creatures or humans or whatever, and that's evidence for theism. And your response to that was, okay, but here's this piece of evidence against theism. That's just not to engage.
Hold on. It's not that it's evidence against theism, because one, I'm a theist. So, but the reason
you can be a theist and think there's evidence against theism.
Hold on. Can let me real quick, because evidence first. By the way, what's your actual first name? Or I can just keep calling you that. All right, Cody. So just saying. So the question that is at the contention is like, our existence, is it explained by God? Is there evidence to support the claim that God is what created our existence? That's the thing that's being argued. And then he kept circling back to our existence itself is evidence for God. And Cody kept asking him, please draw the logical dots. Please show the causal relation. Show that. He kept asking him to, and he kept just pointing back to our existence. And then he eventually started saying, well, just his own existence is evidence to him that God exists, but my existence isn't, or something else. We kept trying to get him to parse that out, but he kept going down Philbro rabbit holes and dodging questions incessantly. He was up here for a performance, not a real conversation. He's up here for clips.
I wasn't here for the first bit of the conversation, so I guess I can't speak to any of that. But it just seems like straightforwardly not engaging with the argument to again, it just seems like shifting the argument.
Well, so what it was engaging with the argument, because the argument wasn't, here is demonstrative proof that God exists. It is, here is why my worldview explains reality better than any competing worldview.
Well, sure, but then if your response to that is just to point out that there's this feature that might not be expected on theism, like human endogenous retroviruses are in some way unexpected on theism. Again, it seems like that's just exactly equivalent to someone who gives the problem of evil and is then responded to by somebody who being like, but fine tuning though, right? Like, well, no, but there's this other feature, right?
No, it would be more akin to something like, hey, my worldview can account for a finite past. Okay, but science seems to suggest the ability for an infinite past, and this worldview accounts for both possibilities being the case.
I also have big problems with can explain, especially if you have an all-powerful God, it can literally explain anything, but that does zero. Like, it could, if I have a broken window, an all-powerful God is a sufficient explanation for that, but you have to not just show that something is sufficient to explain it, like in my Gremlins analogy.
Sure, I agree that like just saying that theism could explain some fact isn't enough to get you to evidence for the fact. But the point is,
before it can even be a candidate explanation. So if I have a broken window, we could say like a tree branch, a rock, a golf ball if I live near a golf course, right? We go through candidate explanations. like Gremlins doesn't even get to be a candidate explanation, or it's absurd to throw it in there as putting it on equal par as everything else until you actually show that it exists, right?
Well, I think that's just sort of confused, because the point is just that this fact in the world is supposed to be evidence for the existence of God, right? So to say that you have to prove that it can exist or does exist before you can say that it could be evidence for its
no
existence.
Different than me saying my broken window is evidence for Gremlins. Like, yes, if Gremlins existed, they could have absolutely broken that window, but they don't get to be a candidate. You're throwing God as like, okay, so we all acknowledge like existence is a thing. We have reality. We're living in reality. And then, well, I have this disembodied mind that knows literally everything and can do literally anything. I haven't explained even a mechanism or shown that that's even fucking possible, right? I haven't even shown it's possible, but I'm going to have this. I'm going to have this candidate explanation of something that at this point there's no evidence even exists, and say that's a candidate. Your candidate explanationing it into being on equal par with things that we know for a fact fucking exist.
Sure.
Like it doesn't. Go ahead.
It seems like what you're saying that. So I guess there's two things. One is just that it seems like we've gotten a bit far from what I was initially trying to say, which was just that it seemed like you weren't really engaging with the argument, and were instead just sort of shifting to a new argument.
Maybe before you got here, but we tried to.
Okay. If you agree that the point about human endogenous retroviruses was just not at all engaging with the argument,
that was addressing something else. That was addressing something else he said. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I like extrapolate on this? So when he says that his existence is evidence for God, that's where I was discussing human endogenous retroviruses, because his existence as a human, given that he's not saying that he's an alien, is human. So if you're human, your existence includes human endogenous retroviruses. And if your existence is evidence for that God, then by extension, human endogenous retroviruses in some way would indicate evidence for God, because your existence includes human endogenous retroviruses. Unless you provide a different explanation, which he refused to give us. Every time we asked him, hey, how exactly does your existence provide evidence for God? He would go back to saying that his existence is evidence for God. And he would go in this circle over and over again, which is why I decided to go down a different way and go more specific into a specific area of his existence, which would include human endogenous retroviruses.
Yeah, but I think that's just so I guess there's a few things. One is that it's just not true to say that if I say that my existence is evidence for theism, that every particular feature of the human body has to be evidence for theism.
Then you have to be specific. Which
well,
he wasn't.
You can just say so. I mean,
he said his entire existence.
If you're giving,
he said his totality. Yeah, he did say the totality of his existence is evidence for God.
Yeah, so then human endogenous retroviruses would be included in that totality, which is why I asked that. So no, it was actually very relevant.
So I guess
if he was more specific and he said just consciousness, then we would go down an entirely separate rabbit hole. But that's not what happened.
Sure. So I guess there's a couple things. I mean, so one is that that wasn't my understanding of what he was saying, but I'm not super interested in like getting into the meta, like what was he actually saying argument. But if we agree that sort of if the interpretation where what he was doing was saying just his existence implicator is evidence for theism, the response of okay, but here's this feature of the human body that's unexpected, or at least like not super expected on theism, is just not an engagement in the argument. And then if your position is just that that's not what was being said, then I guess.
No, so he specifically said, and we went back into the tapes just to roll this back again. And he also ended up saying this again multiple times after claiming that he didn't actually say this, that his existence in totality is evidence for God. That's the reason why I brought up human endogenous retroviruses, because your existence as a human in totality includes human endogenous retroviruses. Now,
sure,
if we were to say, now if he said, now to clarify, he didn't say this, but if he said this, then my answer would have been different. If he said that his existence, specifically his consciousness, is evidence for God, then we would have gone down a different dialogue. It wouldn't have included human endogenous retroviruses, because human endogenous retroviruses don't contribute to your consciousness. Obviously so. But he did not say that. He said his existence, and he never clarified a specific part of his existence.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm not, the what did he actually mean, what did he actually say argument, I don't think is going to be super fruitful. That was not how I understood what was being said, but that's, I guess, we don't have to go into that. But if we agree that, again, that what he was saying was just his existence implicator is evidence for theism, just pointing to this other feature of the world of like human biology or whatever, just doesn't engage with that specific point. If we agree to that, then it doesn't seem like.
Well, because I even brought up that I even tried to. Well, here's the thing.
I mean,
Hegel,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry,
brought up
CT. Do you have anything of substance to provide, or you just wanted to critique us on a previous call?
Well, I think that.
I think that you should provide
like you
something
that
of
sort of
substance.
obviously false, but
I think that you're obviously
I think that
stupid.
it's
Would you like to
substantive
provide something of substance today?
I mean, if you want to talk about, I think what I think are sound, or at least plausibly sound arguments for theism, we can. But
go
if you
for
want
it.
to move on, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think fine tuning is evidence for theism.
By fine tuning, do you mean the universal constants being within a narrow range conducive to life?
Yeah, just that they occupy a narrow sliver of the possibility space.
Okay.
I love this.
So there's multiple problems with it. One, and I know this just by talking to a couple of other people who are cosmologists, we don't know if the universal constants could have been any different. I'm not saying they couldn't, but if they couldn't, then the probability that the universal constants would be conducive to life are 100%.
Well, I think that just confuses the sort of what the relevant sort of possibility or probability in the argument is. It's about epistemic probability, at least in its Bayesian formulations. So it's at least epistemically possible that it could be different, right?
Yeah, so what are the numbers that you're including in this Bayesian formula for the prior probability of these universal constants? What's P of A, what's P of B given A, and what's P of B?
So I think that you don't there's debate about how specifically you should do it, but the problem is just that you're going to have a ridiculously low prior on theism.
No, I'm asking
order for you not to get an update.
So you're saying that you're relying on prior probabilities. I'm asking you for the formula, including the numbers.
You want me to just give the Bayesian formula?
No, I want you to give me the formula, including the numbers that you're referring to and what they mean.
I don't think that we need strict numbers to do Bayesian inference.
For prior probability, yes, we do.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody in philosophy of probability thinks this. I don't think
so. Prior probability is based off of Bayesian probability, and that's I believe it's P B given A times P of.
So the fine-tuning argument is generally phrased as in terms of sort of Bayesian theory comparison and sort of how we talk about Bayesian confirmation.
Yeah.
And all that's relevant there is just
to prior probability. I just want the formula.
The formula for
the
like
formula,
are you asking
the
for
numbers?
Are you asking me to solve the problem of the priors? Is that what you're saying?
So you said that you are relying on prior probability to determine that the probability, like based off of the probability.
I don't know what you mean by relying on prior
probability for the cosmic constants being what they are.
I'm not sure what you mean when you say relying on
prior probability, meaning that there is a low probability for them to be what they are. And you're saying that low probability is based off of prior probability. And so if you're basing it off of prior probability, then there is going to be a formula, including numbers, and it's going to be
I don't know what you mean by basing it off of prior probability.
Okay, so it's not prior probability. Are you using the frequentist definition?
No, I'm asking you what you mean by basing it on prior probability. Like, what does that mean?
So you are saying that the universal constants are not very probable, and you said that it was based off of prior probability.
Well, no, it's just that they're not the epistemic probability of the fine-tuned constants.
What's the formula for epistemic probability?
What are you talking about?
Probability probability is a numerical value. So what is the formula
when somebody
for epistemic
says
probability?
when I say that something is like more likely than something else, you think that doesn't mean anything unless I can give like a distinct it's 5 times more likely?
Yeah, in statistics that would be the case. So can you please give me what the formula is for epistemic probability?
Otherwise, you're just
what do you think epistemic probability
is? You're just going with the gut about what's probable, what feels more probable.
So what do you think epistemic probability is?
Great. Then what quantifiable data are you using for probability if you're not just going with a gut reaction?
What quantifiable? Well, that's so. I mean, if you're asking for like how we get the sort of portion of the possibility space that it occupies,
because here's the actual.
Do you want me to finish, or do you want to?
Go ahead.
Okay, so if you're asking how we get the sort of portion of the possibility space that it occupies, my understanding is that the standard model and like standard cosmological models sort of have the bounds in the models, so then like those aren't particularly controversial.
Okay, all right. So here's what without because
that
we
what
could
you
go
were
down
asking,
we can go down this path of like, I agree with because I feel like probability is thrown around. I've seen it in these philosophical discussions way too much without actually having any priors from which to gauge any sort of probability. It just feels like, well, just as an example, if a God exists, it's more probable he would want other life forms to exist along with him because previous life forms, blah blah blah. And I think that's just basically feels, and I can make arguments why it's the other way around.
No,
But
the point is
that's not
just
actual.
that all you need to think is that the likelihood of that is not 1 in 10 to the.
I'm dealing with actual numbers here. With my first argument, I wasn't even going to spend a lot of time on it. Is that we don't know if the universal constants of the universe could be anything else. And I'm not saying they can't be. I'm saying we don't know.
The point is we know
Hold
that.
on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
You're just confused about the relevant modal scope.
Let me finish.
Okay, what do you think the modal scope is?
Okay, let me finish. All right. We don't know if the universal constants could be anything different. If they can't be, the probability that they would be conducive to life because they are now, and if they are what they must be, the probability would be 1. That's it. That's the only point.
Do you remember the question that I asked you before you said that?
No, because you were speaking while I was talking. No, because you were speaking while I was.
No, I'm just gonna ask it again.
Okay, you were speaking while I was talking a second time. Please don't speak while I'm talking. So go ahead.
You interrupted me, but that's fine. So do you mind if I ask the question again, or are you gonna
go ahead?
Out? Okay, so the question was just what.
Enough with the meta. I'm not going to crash out.
Do you want me to finish?
Just stop taking this down to toxic.
You were complaining about interruption earlier, and now you muted me.
We went right back there. Stop with the meta. Just ask your question.
Okay, so the question was just when you say could have, right? That I take it to be sort of you're talking about it. You know, it's a modal term. What do you think the relevant modal scope is for the argument?
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Okay.
By the way,
I'll explain why. I can explain why this is relevant.
Before
the problem
we go
is that
on,
all that's necessary for the argument is just that it's apistemically possible.
Before we move on to useless definitions, I wanted to give an actual useful definition, which is that probability is a mathematical measure of how likely an event is to occur, expresses a number between 0 impossible and 1 being certain. So yes, it is mathematical. So when I was asking you for the math,
no one said it wasn't mathematical. That's not what was said. So
you
what
literally
was said,
said that.
No, what I said was you don't have to have precise. I can clarify what I meant and what I said. So what I said was you don't have to have
precise numbers. That's false.
Yeah, you don't have to have specific.
Is mathematical inherently.
Yeah, nobody thinks that in order to do Bayesian inference, you need specific.
Yes, you do.
Confirmed numbers.
You can see. You do. Yes, you literally do. It is a literal.
Can you name a single philosopher of probability who thinks this?
I'm talking about statistics because you're talking about probability. I don't care about you thinking about probability. I care about the actual numbers.
So is that a yes or a no to my question?
What?
Do you remember the question I asked?
I'm very confused.
It's okay that you didn't. I'll repeat the question again, but let's try to listen when people talk. So what I asked was, can you name a single philosopher of probability who thinks this? And you're not going to be able to, because this is a crazy view that nobody thinks. Nobody thinks that you need
probability
precise.
Literally uses a mathematical formula to update.
Yeah, but the point is you don't need to be hyper confident in the specific values that you give it. Bayesian inference can be useful if you have like a range, for example.
I would like to use specific values if you're referring to if you're claiming that the universe is finely tuned. So can you please give me the numbers
I'm comfortable.
Put into the formula for Bayesian probability?
Sorry, I'm comfortable with the how am I blanking on his name?
Hegel, are you? A clarifying question. Are you saying in philosophy for Bayesian probability, they calculate probability using no numbers at all? How does it work?
What I'm saying is that you can do Bayesian inference with. So you can do like Bayesian theory comparison without mentioning any numbers at all. Just in terms of like relative, like much. You don't even have to talk in terms of numbers. You can just say like much greater, right? And then you're still doing a sort of structurally Bayesian inference without any numbers. I agree that to do like in Bayes' formula, right? Like in Bayes, to the formula for Bayes' theorem includes numbers. But the point is
before we go on, we do realize that Thomas Bayes literally relied on numbers for Bayesian probability because he wanted to turn human beliefs and expectations into precise mathematical systems. I'm reading a direct quote that I learned in like an upper level graduate class for Bayesian probability. So can you please give me the fucking numbers for Bayesian probability for the fine-tuned constants of the universe based off of your beliefs?
What I just said was exactly that, right? Was exactly that.
No,
obviously in the formula you put numbers in, right? But the point is just you can do what are like structurally Bayesian inferences without numbers.
About
like why are you
structural bullshit when you're saying the finely tuned constants, which by the way are numbers. I want to know the numbers, so give me the numbers.
Okay, if are you asking for the likelihood given a principle of indifference, or
dodge number one?
I'm comfortable with the Penrose numbers. I forget exactly what it is, but it's something like 1 in 10 to the, I think, 14th or something like that.
I'm gonna grant something that now you can't calculate, like use a collaboration of like calculations based on this because you don't have actual numbers. But there are certain things that you have priors for that you can infer. For example, I have no idea how many atoms are in the world or make up the Earth, but I can confidently say the number is much greater than the number of pairs of shoes that are on the Earth. We could all agree to that, but I can't calculate anything from it. But more importantly, that is based on like actual priors that we have, or not even a prior, but like known data to a point. Like we know the size of atoms, we know that atoms make up all material.
We know the possibility space for
So those are priors that we actually have.
No, but that's not priors. That's like I don't think we know what priors are.
I'm misusing the term, but that is based on information that we actually have. We could probably even calculate
I agree.
the approximate.
But we don't
have information.
Right? Like
we don't have information on gods.
Okay, but that's so I guess there's a couple things. We have some information. Certainly you think that we don't know literally nothing about God, right? Because you think maybe you think that, but if you think that, you don't think that there can be evidence.
I mean actual information about like real world information. We have information about God in the same way we have information about leprechauns. We don't have actual.
Okay.
Wait.
So I guess there's a couple things, but now this is like a totally different argument. So if initially what you were asking was, what do I think the likelihood given naturalism is? I'm comfortable with Penrose's calculations.
Okay.
If that answers your question, it was just totally unclear what the question was supposed to be because you kept asking for what the priors were and then you shifted to not the priors. So if that's the question,
you brought up the cosmic constants. You brought up the cosmic constants, which are represented by numerical values. And so if we're trying to calculate whether or not these numerical values are more or less probable, then based off of a specific probability space, that probability space is going to include numbers because those values of the cosmic constants are represented as numerical values. So when I was asking you for the numbers, because you are saying that it is not probable, that is what I am asking for. The actual probability space, including the numbers. Because the values that you are talking about that are that are quote unquote not probable are represented as numerical fucking values.
Yeah, I agree they're represented as numerical values, but the point is just that we don't have to have a precise credence in the likelihood of fine-tuning given naturalism to think that it's vastly lower than likelihood given theism, right? So here's an analogy, right? So here's
would you have to know whether the universal constants could be anything other than what they are?
Only that the only thing you have to know is that it's epistemically possible because that's the relevant sort of probability in Bayes' formula. Because it's about rational updating of your credences.
When you say epistemically possible, so does that mean logically possible or does that mean nomologically possible?
Neither.
Okay, what's the difference between nomological, logical? What is epistemic possibility?
Okay, so epistemic possibility just means it's like what's compatible with our current body of evidence. But if you don't know what epistemic possibility is, I don't know why you're engaging with like Bayesian arguments. Like this is basic stuff.
I know it's hard to keep up with your brilliance. Sorry about that. No, so is it nomologically? If we don't know, it's relevant to know whether it's actually nomologically possible for the. We need to know that to know the probability.
It's not relevant for the Bayesian argument because again, all that's required for the Bayesian formulation is epistemic possibility.
The problem is we don't. So here's the thing. Would you agree that
is that true or not true? Do you agree or disagree with that?
What?
That all you need to know is whether or not it's epistemically possible.
No, I don't agree. And
Okay.
here's why.
How do you not agree with that if you don't know what epistemic
We've been asking for the probability space for like forever. Are you ever going to actually define it, or are you just going to say it's epistemically possible?
A bunch of different confused arguments being given. There's a bunch of different confused arguments being given, and I'm trying to address them one at a time. So I can address this guy's argument, and then we can talk, or I can just explain what epistemic possibility to this guy is.
Okay, so if it's nomologically not possible for the universal constants to be any other way, then the probability that they would be conducive to life is 1. Do you agree with that?
There's different sorts of nomological probability, yes, but epistemic probability is the relevant probability. Here's an analogy, right? So suppose we discovered that the sort of laws of the universe, when mapped out mathematically, the numbers were converted to letters and it spelled out God exists, right? In that case, we would still want to be able to say that that's evidence for theism. And the reason we'd be able to say that is because the relevant possibility space is epistemic possibility.
Okay,
right?
so
and if your view is that if it's not nomologically possible, it can't be evidence, then you're going to have to say that in these cases, this is what's called awesome theistic evidence. It's discussed in the literature. That you're going to have to say that in these cases, it can't be evidence for theism. But that's obviously not true.
Okay, so if it's nomological, so if it turns out that is actually nomologically impossible for the universal constants to be any other way, and you agreed that would mean the probability that they would be conducive to life.
There's different sorts of probability.
Is 100. I know there is. I said that. I agreed to that.
But yeah, the nomological probability. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm trying to say is something being nomological.
Did you understand the analogy I gave? Because if you understood the analogy, you wouldn't be saying these sorts of
things. Because nothing else matters at that point. If we don't know whether it's actually possible. By that I mean nomologically possible. Nomological possibility.
Why would I think that's actual?
Why are you cutting me? Why are you cutting me off?
Because you're saying confused.
Okay. Why are you
cut me off earlier? You were happy.
Okay.
I thought those were the norms.
Okay. All right. So you agreed that. So let's agree nomological possibility is like actually possible, like in the real world with
that's
modern
not what
laws.
Nomological possibility means.
Is it nomologically possible for me to jump?
You don't know what nomological
nomological
possibility is.
That's literally what it. That's literally. I've looked it up before. That's literally what it means.
Okay. What do you think is going to come up when I Google define nomological possibility? Do you think it's going to be actually possible?
Well, actually possible with the constraints of like the laws of physics and science, etc.
Yeah, so it's about the laws of nature. So it's not just what's actually possible. So look at it. Assuming the laws of nature.
We're discussing the laws of nature.
True, but the point is that that's not the relevant probability in Bayesian arguments.
Okay, so
it's epistemic probability. It's about rationally updating your grievances.
How about this? Because I feel like you're just trying to like win instead of have a real conversation.
No, what I'm trying to do is explain to you that you're confused. Nobody thinks that this is a reasonable response in the literature. Like I just want to point out that like if you read the debates around fine tuning, nobody will be making these sorts of points because everybody, even the most like strident atheists in the world, will agree that this is just confused about what the argument is saying, right? The point is that it's about rational updates to your credences given evidence, right? Okay. So if the evidence is,
if it's so, forget like technical terms. If it's actually, cosmologists don't know if it's actually possible for the universal constants to be any other way. If it turns out cannot be,
what does actual possibility mean?
Stop.
Calm down.
It means it cannot be any other. It means it's impossible.
Yeah, then what you said isn't true because what you said earlier was that it's not known. We don't know if it's logically.
What I meant by nomological, I meant within the constraints of the natural world, meaning the laws of physics.
It's not just even constraints of it's specific to the natural laws. Nomos means law. That's the root word.
Right.
So nomological possibility is about given the laws of nature.
They might be.
Can this happen?
They might be necessary. Like it could be that, like for example, the strong and weak nuclear force could not, in any plausible world, be any other way.
Yeah, and that would affect the argument exactly zero.
Well, that would mean that the universal constants have to be what they are, which would mean the probability that they would be conducive to life is 1.
Not the epistemic probability, which is the relevant sort of probability in Bayesian arguments. I've repeated this now like 4 or 5 times. I don't know, like, what part of it confuses you?
Okay, just because numbers can be something doesn't mean that they actually are this in reality. So that is what Sean is saying, and that is what we are arguing, is that when you say that something is lowly probable, and you're talking about things that are in reality, you actually have to use real life data, not just your fucking brain.
Can you repeat back to me the point I just made? Because like what you just said totally didn't engage with what I said.
This is like going
the point is just that you're not at all able to engage with the sort of simple points I'm making.
You're just
I'll explain it once again.
You're not even
You guys are talking over each other.
in a relevant way.
You're just up here peacocking. You're not trying to have like an actual genuine conversation.
I don't want to do the meta. Let's just have the conversation, okay? So suppose, do you know what necessitarianism is? So it's the view that like there aren't any contingent facts, that every fact is necessary, right? So if you're a necessitarian, you're going to think that
I'm officially
that every fact
protesting,
of the
so
universe,
I'm not going to. I refuse to respond to anything other than numbers. So until you give me the Bayesian formula with actual numbers, I could quite frankly give less of a shit about your semantics.
Okay, here's the likelihood given naturalism, assuming a principle, like assuming we're indifferent across possible value, which it seems like we should, given that naturalism is non-informative. It's going to be 1 in 10 to 10 to the 123rd, according to Roger Penrose, for the probability that the universe would be precisely in the low entropy initial stage. Does that help you? That's the Penrose numbers. Can you have the actual argument now, or? Hello? Hello? Chat, can we hear me?
Waiting for the numbers.
Can you repeat back to me what I just said? Because I just gave some numbers.
I don't care. I'm waiting for the numbers. You gave me words, not numbers.
So you don't care that I gave the numbers, but you're waiting for the numbers?
Yeah, I didn't hear number 1 times number 2 over number 3 equals.
Yeah, but the point is just that if we establish that the likelihood of a life-permitting universe on naturalism is 1 in 10 to 10 to the 123rd, I think that gives you, unless you think that the likelihood is similarly small.
Yeah, what universe did he compare that to?
Say that again?
What universe did he compare that to?
Well, I don't think you need to compare.
You do. That's how probability
Penrose
works.
Thinks that you need to compare.
I don't give a fuck what Penrose thinks. How did he get it?
Okay, so he got it by sort of specifying and understanding the sort of sliver of the possibility space occupied
What
by
universe did he compare?
the precise low entropy state. You don't need. Okay, do you remember the awesome theistic evidence case that I gave earlier?
Don't give a shit. So what number did he compare for a universe?
Calm down.
What other universe? How about you calm down and answer the question?
Do you think that if the initial state of the universe was fundamental particles that spelled out the Christian
Not what I
God
asked.
exists,
What
that would be
universe did he
evidence for
compare?
theism? The point, what I'm saying is you don't need to
What I'm saying is what universe did he
in order for
compare?
it to be
I don't give a
evidence.
fuck what you think. What universe did he compare? This is what we're asking.
Yeah, and my position is you don't need to compare.
Okay,
it to
so you
actual
don't
different
know
universes.
the probability between universes because there is no
that doesn't follow at
probability
all.
comparison. I know what you're saying doesn't follow. I'm glad you finally caught that. So would you
That
like to
doesn't follow.
demonstrate
That's not
why
what I
we
said.
should believe that it's more likely that
Do
a
you know
god
what
created it?
frequentism is?
I don't give a
Do you know what
fuck.
frequentism
I don't
is?
give a fuck. I love the
'Cause what
dodge.
you're
It's an
doing right
adorable
now,
dodge.
right,
It's an
is
adorable
you're
dodge.
assuming a specific
So what
model
you're
of-
doing right now is being an annoying bitch.
Let's just calm
So
down.
let's just not dodge. That's going to be dodge number 4,000. So what universe did he compare to be able to state that our universe is likely in comparison to another universe?
Why
Go
are you
for
running?
it. Why are you running? Answer the question. Why are you running?
I
Don't
answered the
dodge.
question.
Don't dodge.
Do you
No,
know what
you didn't.
Bayesianism is?
I don't give a fuck. What universe did he compare to get a comparison and to get a comparative analysis upon universes?
Okay, let's just. Do you want to have a conversation? Or do you
How
want
do
to
you
crash out?
compare universes with
I can
only one
explain.
universe?
You don't need to compare to other universes. Is the point?
Then how do
And
you get a
this
number
is
for a
the-
probability comparison of universes without comparing other universes?
Because you can. So in the same way that suppose all we had was this one universe and
That's
the
all we
initial
do have.
conditions spelled out. Yeah.
It's
spelled
100%
out
probability that
the
we are
Christian-
where we are.
Do you think that? Well, not epistemic probability, right?
It's 100% probability. Not using your big Philbro words. No clue what you're talking about with epistemic probability. What I do know is that we have one universe to compare.
So to be clear, you admit
that's a 1-to-1 ratio. Right? I'm sorry you don't understand basic math. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio for the universe that we have. Don't dodge. We have a 1-to-1 ratio. One universe.
Let's just calm down.
Let's just calm down and stop dodging. We have one universe.
You want me to respond, or do you want to?
Yeah, I want you to provide the other universe that's being compared. Go ahead.
Okay. Most philosophers of probability.
I don't give a fuck if 100% of them say that I'm full of shit. I'm not them. You're not them. So what I want
right?
So what I want you to do is provide the evidence of the other universe comparative.
Why would I think you need one?
I think you need one. So why should I accept your line of thinking?
Thomas Bayes thought you needed one.
No, wait, no, he didn't.
Yes,
Bayes
he
did
did.
not think the point of Bayesianism.
That's what prior probability means. It's based off of prior events. So yes, Thomas Bayes would think that you would need multiple universes.
I just ask literally anyone who. Nobody thinks this. So
I'm not asking other philosophers. I'm not asking chat. I'm asking you. I don't give a fuck if 100% philosophers think I'm full of shit. Prove to me why we are wrong and how you compared a universe non-existent to our universe existent.
And Socrates would agree with.
The point is you don't need to.
Well, I'm saying you do. So demonstrate why you don't.
Yeah, and do you want me to explain why you don't need to?
Yeah. How do you not need something to compare?
Yeah.
For something to compare.
Yeah, I can explain. So you don't need, you need something to compare to something to compare, but you don't need other cases in order to establish probability if you're a Bayesian about probability. So the point is that...
Okay, so I don't grant it then.
What do you mean I don't grant it?
I'm not going to grant your Bayesian probability then. How are you comparing a universe to another universe? If you're just going to use Bayesian... You don't
need to compare a universe, is the point.
I don't agree. That's the point.
Okay, do you want me to explain why I think that's a confused position, or are you going to crash out when I try to?
I've already explained why your position is a confused position. I need you to demonstrate why we should grant your position now. Oh, I don't give a fuck.
Do you want me to demonstrate it, or are you going to crash out when I try to?
Stop crashing out, buddy. I need you to demonstrate it.
Why are you...
Notice how I can say the same rhetoric back?
So...
Doesn't mean
shit. The point is that
it's
plausible when I say it and not when you, but that's okay. So the problem is that if you think that you need sort of a large sort of space of different instances to establish low probability for some event, you're going to think that you can't update in favor of theism on seeing the awesome theistic evidence cases.
You haven't demonstrated anything about theism. You haven't demonstrated anything about another universe. Go ahead.
Notice how what you're saying totally.
Notice how what you're saying is just fucking boring. Can you demonstrate another universe?
You can be
yes or
bored
no?
by it, but that's not a response, is it?
You haven't provided any response.
I gave her. Can you repeat back to me what I just said?
Nope, I can't.
The response I gave? Okay, so then how do you know it wasn't responsive?
Okay, I want you to repeat word for word what I just said 20 seconds ago.
I'm not asking you to repeat
exactly.
It word for word.
So I'm not dodging if I'm incapable of responding word for word verbatim because you are just now asking word for word verbatim.
Okay.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. So for a probability analysis, do you have something to compare?
So you don't have to have another instance to compare to, and if you
for an empirical claim about our empirical universe, you don't have to have another thing to compare for a probability, which is a comparison value. That's crazy.
Nope.
All philosophers say you're full of shit. Scientists say you're full of shit. It's hilarious how fucking smart you think you are. No, you're wrong. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's adorable. So to be clear, you think that you're able to compare a non-existent hypothetical in your imagination. That's adorable. It's so cute. L. Hegel fan. God damn, you just got fucking roasted. You just got rhetorical backshots. This is low tier.
Why are you posturing?
This is absolute low tier. Oh my god, this is low tier.
This beating on your chest.
This is so low tier. You just got rhetorical backshots.
Wait a sec. I don't think this guy knows what prior means. Do you know what prior means?
So the prior probability is the probability before the evidence.
I just asked you what the word prior means.
Before.
All right. So when we're talking about the probability of something, what is define probability?
Define probability? I mean, that depends on who you ask, right?
No, it doesn't.
There are competing theories of probability. Do you disagree with that?
Fucking shit. Okay, just
wait. Do you disagree that they're competing accounts of probability?
I literally colloquially defined probability like I want to say 10 minutes ago. So just colloquially define probability.
Oh, colloquially, it's just how likely some event is to occur, right?
Yeah, so it's based off of an event, right?
What do you mean based off of an event? I agree that it's a measure of the likelihood of an event, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be based off of an event?
Yeah, it's a measure of the likelihood of an event.
The propensity of an event.
Well, that depends on your interpretation of
events.
probability. That depends on a sort of broader theory.
Holy low tier.
Oh my god.
Do you ever
He's having a hard time tracking.
Again, like, why do you think that these voice lines work?
Why do you think yours do?
So, well, because it's very clear that you're not able.
It's very clear that you're incapable of providing the demonstration that we've asked for an hour.
Again,
you should stop rhetorically beating your chest and actually provide a demonstration for the comparative analysis of actual ontological existing universes.
You don't need another comparison.
I don't agree with you.
Have probability. Do you want me to explain why I think that's not true?
You've tried this multiple times. You're getting circular now. It's really massive
I'm having to re-explain because you're not engaging with what I'm saying.
Brother, why are you
which is
so
not
rhetorical?
Circularity. So I'll explain it once again. It's just
man.
So there's these cases in the literature called awesome theistic evidence, and here's one that I think works.
Sober, do you want to take a shot at this guy?
You want me to?
I think we're all getting kind of bored of him.
Continue, like. So there's imagine that the initial conditions of the universe. That was I genuinely found this funny. So imagine that the initial conditions of the universe spelled out the Christian God exists. Do you think that we could say that this is unlikely if naturalism is true? Yes or no?
If it happened, it would be natural.
What was the question I just asked?
We've already been through this, buddy. And you're hypothetical in the world where this is true, which is what we're talking about, whether it is true or not, it would be likely under theism. But you still haven't demonstrated that that is real.
Like you're just not
you
able
have to prove this. You have to demonstrate that this world, this hypothetical, is actually real. You have to demonstrate that this God actually does exist. You have to demonstrate that these other universes actually have comparative value for our actual universe. I don't care for the hypotheticals, buddy. I care about what's actually true. You need to provide demonstration for it.
With certain conditions.
I understand that you're not able to follow. I understand you're not able to follow. It's okay. It's okay.
Do you remember the question I just asked?
I'm trying to walk you through this. Do you remember the question that I just asked? Do you remember what I said? Do you remember what I said about a minute ago?
Yes. So what you said is that you don't care about hypotheticals.
Nope, that's not what I said. Holy tracking error.
It would be true.
All right, I'm getting pretty done with this guy. Do you guys want to continue with him?
Fine.
No, it's okay. Stop running from the questions. I can drop him on if someone else wants to take a shot.
Do you think that
I'm bored?
I'm good, bro. I'm bored.
I don't think he's trying to actually have a
No, he's not.
I've seen him on Ian's lives, and I did not realize
he's been on here multiple times.
But like the thing that I don't understand is like I understand the awesome theistic evidence, and I understand how people like to use the stars writing in the sky, but I feel like that is such a bad example of awesome theistic evidence, because could one not argue that that just is an alien craft or some kind of what is it, tier 3, tier 4 alien civilization?
Oh, there's many options. Oh yeah, that's why I don't even play with the hypothetical, because if it happened, it would be natural. And if there was a God behind it, there would be a causal relation that you could demonstrate for a God doing it. But he doesn't want to go into that. He just wants to stick in a hypothetical world.
I do think it's fair. Like I don't know. Like the way that I've always understood the awesome theistic evidence is not to demonstrate why one should accept fine tuning, but I always took it as a rhetorical, or at least a rhetorical when done in bad faith, but a way for an honest interlocutor to determine, hey, am I being genuinely open to the conversation and the points that the person is making, or am I being closed-minded? Like, is there something that, for me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, would demonstrate that God exists? And I understand like the comment of like, well, I don't know, but God would.
I don't like giving that. I would genuinely say some sort of a causal relation being shown. I would accept the existence.
But yeah, like to me, it's like the awesome theistic evidence is better left vague when it's more of a, hey, imagine X event happened. Whatever is needed for you to have that epistemic justification to conclude God exists, whatever that is for you, we're going to assume that.
and then continue on with the dialogue.
So I looked up. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh no, it was just like closing thoughts of like, but I could be misunderstanding the point, but that's how I've always understood it, and that's how I engage with it. I just think it's poorly used in conversations a lot.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I looked up what epistemic possibility is.
Sure.
And what it said was it's actually very weak. It just says what could be true for all we know. There's no current evidence to contradict it. Basically, the way I'm interpreting that is just it's something you can't rule out.
Sure.
So if you were to say it's epistemically possible that God created the universe, I would grant that because we can't rule it out. It could be true for all we know, but that's not where this debate is heading. We're not now. That would only matter if we claimed no God exists. Like if I claimed like I know no God exists, and they show that it's epistemically possible, that means that my claim to knowledge that no God exists is unjustified because it's epistemically possible. But that's epistemic possibility. It looks by when I looked it up is fucking weak, but it sounds fancy. But what about epistemic possibility? It's basically just saying you can't fucking rule it out. Who cares if you can't rule it out? You're trying to rule it in. That's what I object to. And so if I didn't even get to the other arguments against the fine tuning, but like it is a fact right now, the cosmologists that I've spoken to, we don't know if the universal constants could be anything else than what they are. And if they cannot be, then the probability is 1. So we don't know if the probability. Go ahead.
Dr. Blitz recently co-authored a study. He talked about it about a month ago on one of his shorts, but he did do research, and the conclusions of their study is that the things that we're calling constants are changing.
Really?
So yeah, so it could very well be the case that those constants that are being appealed to in the fine-tuning argument don't actually exist.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. But that's only one leg of the. That's only one problem with fine tuning.
I mean, also, Sean, epistemic probability or possibility is still not Bayesian probability. If you bring up Bayesian probability, specifically priors, then you're referring to a very specific formula that involves numbers. Thomas Bayes made the formula for like describing the world in math, not describing the world in epistemic possibility.
No, I agree. I think it's been hijacked by like TikTok Phil bros because when I first heard of and I admit there's a lot of philosophy jargon I don't know. I saw Styx debating against Theo some shit or another about the Bayesian probability for God and everything, and I'm like, I'm a math guy. Not that I'm a math, I'm super up there, but I enjoy math, and I'm like, how the fuck are they even calculating? We have no priors of it. We have no data. So I looked up Bayesian probability and what it means, and like one of the it all involved actual data that you have, actual real data, and so like the example that was given was like you test positive for a disease that has like 1% have like a false positive and X% have this. And there was all this prior data where it was calculating the odds that you actually have the disease. But it was actual. Basically, I've taken stats and it was basically just stats. That's all it was, but using real fucking numbers. That's what Bayesian probability was. And it's like been hijacked by Phil bros, and I think it just gets repeated by this Phil bro, and then they all think it's like a thing where you can just spitball. Well, it's more probable that this or that, or just kind of spitball like their gut as far as what's more probable than another thing.
I had someone try to use Bayesian probability against the resurrection. They were like, even if I grant like all the Old Testament, blah 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 blah, like it still has, it still makes the resurrection less likely. And I was like, well, and I was doing the same thing. I was like, what are the numbers? Because here's the thing: in the Old Testament, you have accounts of resurrection. So if we're accounting for that, then it's not infinitesimally low. And I'm also not sure if Bayesian probability can be used to predict
agency actions. Like,
you know what's funny about that is I would actually
couldn't.
grant a Bayesian argument for, and I'm a mythicist, I would grant it for a Jesus claim because there's actually data to go off of with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, like
I agree with you. So here's the thing that I've seen some of these like theists do when they're talking about probability. About, well, for example, a god. We have these priors of a thinking agent, and we want companionship. So a god would likely create us for like companionship or something. Things of that nature, right?
Which is heresy in Catholicism, by the way.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of theists aren't Catholic, but
Yeah.
but also like would have the capacity, would love, would feel love, and we know thinking agents feel love, and we see it in the animal kingdom and stuff like that too, right? Well, the problem is we have zero fucking priors for a disembodied mind. We know that, for example, thinking agents feel empathy, but those are a result of mirror neurons in a physical brain, and they are out there like saying, well, humans will feel empathy, so God would, likely this creator thinking agent would likely feel empathy. Like, I've seen them do those sort of inferences.
Yeah.
But like feelings of love, that's fucking chemistry. I wanted to say oxycontin, that's a different kind of love, but oxytocin and like other chemical, like these are physical feel good chemicals, mirror neurons giving you empathy. Like all of our behaviors can be traced to physical biology. We have zero fucking priors for an all-knowing disembodied mind.
Yeah, there's nothing to actually go off of yet, which, I mean, I'm sure it is possible that there is something out there we haven't found yet, but
yeah, I mean, but yeah, just show us the evidence.
For near-death experiences specifically, since I know that that's probably where the next step would be in that conversation, I highly recommend the AWARE 1 and 2 studies. They're fantastic.
Interesting. AWARE 1 and 2.
Yeah, they basically had a bunch of people undergoing near-death experiences, and they placed something in the room to see if they could identify it once they came out of that experience. None of them were able to identify it.
Yeah, 100% failure rate.
I would also mention that there's no evidence to suggest that somebody can be entirely brain dead with a fully conscious mind.
All right. Well, I can afford time for one more, and we've got Durango up next.
Would one more crash out or one more good faith conversation?
One more in total. One more. I gotta head out. So I'm gonna get Durango up here. Hopefully a good back and forth. Hello, Durango.
Actually, you're probably going to love this. I'm not here to argue for God. I'm here to actually argue against philosophy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's going to be difficult. Okay.
Yeah. So mainly these Phil bros that really like to come up and play these games like they like to do.
Yeah.
So if you will, kind of play a little devil's advocate with me.
Sure.
So my argument is, in order to test the effectiveness of your philosophical understanding, I have a question that I would like for you to answer. And the question is, can you use philosophy to prove that men have an equivalent, if not more, of a propensity for common sense than women?
What?
No, because you would need to do a lot to demonstrate that.
Was this meant to be misogynistic?
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all.
So here's the thing about philosophy, and this is coming from someone who loves philosophy, loves the literature, and hates what Phil Bros are doing with it. What Phil Bros are doing is not philosophy, just first and foremost.
Where did the hate for women come from?
This is not a misogynistic thing. I'm
quite literally, it's an argument that men are intellectually superior to women. That's literally what you just said.
I think what he's trying to do is say, hey, you could theoretically, philosophically argue that men have more common sense than women, but clearly that's not the case. So therefore, philosophy is useless because it can argue for anything.
So in this instance, my counter to however they answer the question, it doesn't really matter how they answer the question. The counter is that 95%, and I would say that that's a generous number, of people do not think in philosophical terms. Therefore, common sense would indicate most people will not be swayed by your arguments. Seeing as in my time watching TikTok Live, I have never once seen a woman try to use philosophy to sway the listener. Women have a greater propensity for common sense.
Well,
I think he's being tongue in cheek.
I'm being tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
So,
Duncan on Phil Bros being tongue in cheek.
yeah.
But you
So, like,
are correct. I've never seen a female or a woman, probably better term, Phil Bro on TikTok. I've never seen it.
That's actually so fucking valid.
Well, and however, I have encountered a lot of women who love philosophy.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so the point is that don't.
Yeah, I've never
just
talked
like
to a female Philbro. That's crazy.
We've never had, you know, what's your modality for that? Go ahead. Like, never had that.
Actually, no, Cody. Right before I went on my hiatus, you did have a female
Did I?
Philbro, and you even commented on it because I was on there on that live, and you're like, man, I think that's the first female Philbro.
Hey guys, no need to use the word "foid." That's fucking stupid.
But
I want her username because I want to follow her.
But regardless, the point that I was trying to get at is just like you wouldn't judge science on like the Gatorade company saying, "Hey, we are scientific.
I like that.
We have scientific proof of our drinks curing hydration," or even more extreme, the guy who tried to argue for the link between vaccines and autism, but he was in the pocket of whatever company he was in trying to sell their product. Like, you wouldn't use that as a reason to then discredit or move away from science. Philbros are to philosophy what that is to science. Philosophy is just as rigorous, if not more so, than science. Like, yes, it doesn't have the scientific testing, it doesn't have the scientific method, but it still requires extremely careful and precise reasoning to arrive at the conclusions. And just like how bad evidence can lead to bad conclusions, it's in science, the same thing is true for philosophy. So it's not that philosophy is useless. Like, science itself, empiricism itself, comes from a philosophical concept of, no, like, we can trust our sense data, we can trust the world around us to provide us with accurate information. The justification used to in order to justify science requires philosophy. Philosophy is just the art of thinking well, essentially. And Philbros are not doing that.
So what I want to make sure that I'm clear on here is that this is in no way, shape, or form an attack on women. I do believe that there are women philosophers.
Well, yeah, of course. We're using Philbro as a mean jab.
Sure. But the idea is that a vast majority of people in the world don't run around thinking about philosophical, ideals. They don't understand what ontology means. They don't understand all of these.
And the vast majority don't understand deep science as well.
They don't. So, I mean, the people these guys that come up here and want to run these massive philosophical arguments aren't really going to sway anybody, because they just don't. Most people don't think like that. They're not educated in that area. They don't care about that. So common sense would say that using these arguments in order to sway somebody to your belief is a really bad tactic.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Your overall point is that philosophy is basically a waste of time.
I would say if you're trying to use philosophy in the manner that they use philosophy to try to sway somebody to their way of thinking, I think that it's a bad tactic, because
I agree with you there.
Because most people don't use that kind of thought. They don't have that kind of depth of thought to themselves. I don't either. Like, I'm listening to these conversations this whole time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't understand anything that's going on.
So Durango, just to let you know, that's their whole point. That's their whole purpose. So their whole purpose is not to lead to understanding. So I agree with your last statement of, like,
engaging in philosophy the way that they do and the way that they present philosophy the way that they do is pointless. Yes, I agree with that 100%. I disagreed with your very first statement about the pointlessness of philosophy, quote unquote, simplicator. Now, you didn't say simplicator, and what simplicator means is just philosophy as a whole, philosophy in its totality, just philosophy with no additives onto it, like bad philosophy, like the Filbro philosophy. So I disagreed with the way that you presented your point initially, but now that I have a better understanding, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I actually literally just wrote this down while I was waiting to come up. So I'm trying to kind of parse it out and fix it a little bit. So, because I do my own lives as well. I only do them like a couple of times a week, but when I have these people come up, I want to be able to like just like send them away, like by showing them that they have a massive lack of common sense, probably bruise their ego a little bit because they're probably all a bunch of alpha male wannabes that
Watch
believe
a little
that
too
coming
much
up
Andrew
and
Tate.
that come up and get them a quick win by saying a bunch of big words really fast, makes them feel good about themselves. So anyways, it has nothing at all to do with misogyny. I know it may have sounded like that at first, but it really doesn't.
No, I appreciate the explanation.
If I may, a better example or a better counter to that, just to help avoid that getting clipped and being used against you, would be something like, I'm trying to think. Can you provide the philosophical demonstration that people with blue eyes have better intelligence than those with brown eyes?
Okay, so as in
opposed to saying like or have more common sense than those with brown eyes. Like instead of using man, women use blue eyes, brown eyes.
Well,
and
the point is to be able to defeat them in the end by the fact that I've never once seen a female do this. That it's only just men that do this. So like that's like the point that I'm sticking at the end is that I've never once, like, even if there is one, I have heard of a couple, I've never seen them. Even if there's 2 or 3, there's 175,000 of them. They keep constantly popping up and doing this thing where they try to like run crap arguments that don't sway anybody.
To be fair, this type of debate space is very male dominated in the first place, so it might also be it's not confirmation, maybe a sharpshooter fallacy, but just the very fact that we're in a very male dominated space in the first place, that could also be the case. It's
I'm sorry,
I don't know, just like the way that you had said the first, like that you're hypothetical, like I get your concluding point. I was just concerned about because these guys love their clips and they can use that against you fast.
That's okay. I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't care. They can clip me all they want. They can clip me right now. I don't care.
They're always clipping. Well, I appreciate you hopping up and saying hi.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm a friendly. So that was all. I just, I kind of wanted to run this, and I know it doesn't seem like much of an argument, but it's just kind of, like I said, just a dunk on these people that think that they really understand so much and are able to do so much with it that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man. You have yourself a good day, all right?
Yeah, you too.
All right. I gotta end.
Yep.
Appreciate you, CT, for sticking around for fucking almost 4 hours.
I mean, I'm just chilling out. Like, while I was muted, I was playing Resident Evil Village and then pausing to say my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like you were rated by supporters and fans of all of the guests. Like, I've been watching the chat, and they were all like, supporters for the KG people, and then supporter for Rust, and then Hegel fan had his supporters and fans
Oh
in
yeah.
the chat as well. Yeah, it
Oh
was.
yeah. I don't read
It was
chat
an
whenever
interesting.
we're that's why I well, that is the main reason I don't read chat too much whenever we're in the middle of debates, is because it's like 99% opposition. And it's like, so whenever I get a
If it's
super
a
chat or
big name,
something,
yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, let me let's talk about that, or you know,
Yeah.
responding to the
Yeah,
super
when it's a
chats,
big
etc.
name, it seems like that they advertise, "Hey, I'm going on to this group,"
Yeah.
and
Bring all the other Phil bros with them.
yeah.
Yep. But I appreciate you, man. I will see you in the next one. All right.
Yep.
All right. Adios. Later, TikTok. YouTube, you guys are absolute champs putting up with all that shit with me. Holy crap. Whew. My brain is fried, man. I gotta go relax. Appreciate everyone being here. Mods, you're legends, because I wasn't keeping track of anything. You guys all have yourselves a good day. All right. Adios.